I had removed my intro that you made me, Tootie, for a different reason. And I didn't re-upload it. So we're live. No intro.
Welcome to the world of Bethany.
Not Bethany, but thank you, Dusty Crowd, even though it doesn't look like anybody's here.
There we go. Okay.
There we go. So, yeah, I wasn't prepared, but it was like, I had Tootie over here going, do it.
I said, have Dusty raid you. Here's your perfect chance. There you
Are you familiar with the Waffle House?
Yes.
You know I am, sir.
All right. So last night or yesterday afternoon, I guess, before I decided to just freaking pass out for 14 hours, I had this thought of like donation clips and stuff, and I've got all these Waffle House jokes, and I've been doing them for fucking years and whatever. And I got to thinking, like, what kind of shenanigans has actually gone down at the Waffle House? What stuff do we have that's on film? Most of it's interesting for a watch, but it doesn't work for like donation stuff. There's no clown beatdown that I can find.
I do need some help with dono clips because I've been searching and I'm concerned about copywriting. So then I started trying to make them, and I'm not very good at that. At least not yet, because the program pissed me off. Okay.
You have to have a second opinion on all of that shit. Yeah. I have this mountain of unreleased shit that I've been doing for the past 6 years over here. And a buddy of mine came over and I was like, he was talking about like, so you upload everything you do? And I was like, no, I might upload one thing out of 50. And he's like, what are the rest of them? And I was like, well, they're on my computer, like shorts and stuff. I was like, yeah, the shorts you never released. I'm like, yeah, they're not good. And he's like, let me see a couple of them. This motherfucker spent the next 45 minutes crying, laughing so hard because he was just like, click. He's got this stupid little laugh too, where he goes, hee, 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 hee. Anyway, it's funny. It was funny as fuck. And watching him watch those was funnier than the actual videos were because they were just a little funny and he was going through them quick. And so one funny would bounce off the other, funny would bounce off the other. It kept going. And directly, he's like, I don't know why you have that. But they're like, they're crap. They're trash. They don't even, half of them don't even make sense because, you know, I'm dumb.
I'll be right back. I need to grab me a drink real quick.
So this is a Waffle House.
I spread you across all my Discords.
You know, at Waffle House, you have servers, you have for the grillmen, and then you have senseis. And the senseis are the ones just below the manager, and they're responsible for teaching the Waffle House staff how to survive a 24-hour period, right? I've got another clip over here. I'm gonna have to go look for it because I didn't save it. Because, like I said, I was looking for things that would edit well into dono clips. And I'm going to have to go take another look at it because it's done very generically. It doesn't look like a Waffle House, but at the same time, you can feel the Waffle House in it. But
gotcha.
This is how Waffle House trains the night shift. Logical Spark, welcome in, bud.
My name is Sensei Jimmy, and this is the Waffle House Dojo, aka the Waho Dojo. Now, if you ain't from around here or you've never traveled the interstate in the South, you should know that Waffle House is about three things. Cooking waffles all the time, except when we're whooping. Now, if you thought working at Waffle House was just about cooking breakfast.
So I don't agree with that. I know for a fact, have witnessed, can confirm that indeed, while whooping ass, they are probably still cooking waffles.
Probably.
I mean, yeah.
Well, you'd be right about the day shift. But at night, we got to keep our head on the swivel and our minds sharper than a knife. Oh, hold on. Actually, we got something on this one. I thought this was clean. I teach the night crew how to smother, cover, and chunk anybody who breaks the Waffle House code of conduct, which honestly is a very low bar. We just ask that you keep your pants on for at least half the meal. Now, like most martial arts, the way of the waffle is only to be used for self-defense against the highly intoxicated or anybody who comes in between 12 a.m. and 4 a.m. Because honestly, if you're up that late, you're probably asking for food. There's a reason why those cowards at Cracker Barrel close at 8. You
remember a little while ago they tried to take the Cracker
Yeah, I remember that.
That is, dude. That is a case. That is a perfect case study in how to win the culture war through memes. The fact that, okay, we're going to take the Indians, we're going to take the Chiefs, we're going to take the Banditos and all the other ethnically referenced mascots in the world, and they came across Cracker Barrel and said, yes, we're going to take the white guy off the Cracker Barrel logo, and the universe itself flexed and said, no, because the Cracker Barrel is not a Cracker Barrel without the cracker, apparently.
Apparently not. Apparently not.
I mean, at least with the whole Dylan Mulvaney thing with Bud Light, there was effort involved in that. Like,
Right.
these people did absolutely nothing except go to AI and be like, make a modern Cracker Barrel logo without a white guy, and that's what they showed to us. It was like, we're going to do this, and the universe, it wasn't just white people. That's the thing. That's what a lot of people didn't get. I saw a bunch of videos of people going over it going, oh, all these white people getting mad. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. That wasn't us, dude. We didn't do that. It was every single person out there who looked at that logo and went, wait, how are you going to have a Cracker Barrel without a cracker? You got to put the cracker back on the Cracker Barrel. And they did. Spark, if you've never been to a Waffle House, I suggest you go. You go take you a couple of jujitsu and aikido classes, maybe a good 6 months. We'll stay up till about 12:45 and wander up there and go have a seat at the Waffle House. I would advise you to take the corner booth. It is the farthest away from the door, but it's often the one that's broken by bullets first. So you can just hop out the window when it breaks.
We had, it wasn't an actual Waffle House, but we had a diner that was close to it when my ex and I lived down in the city. And man, I will tell you what, like the first 6 years of our relationship, we went there fucking multiple times a week, and always after, because we worked at a bar. And so we'd go in after work and see our patrons and see the carnage they would fucking cause. And that's exactly what it was.
Waffle House.
You go get the corner booth and you just watch. Just give it a minute.
No, people watch it. Something
Yeah.
happened.
Give it a minute.
Did I ever
It'll
tell you the argument between two schizophrenic breed people?
No.
Oh my god, dude! This is solid fucking gold. I wish I'd have been filming it.
I've taken care of schizophrenic people before, so
no. So
I'm
locally, we have these two individuals. So you'll see them wandering around. They're out there. One of them is a really good artist. He draws stuff and he's really good at it, but he also won't show anybody, right? And he thinks that the federal government had took all of his bank accounts so that they could track him when he spends money, right? He is one of those paranoid, delusional, blames everybody. And for whatever reason, a few months before this, he had kind of picked me out of the crowd to just kind of beef with. And I don't know the guy from Adam's House Cat, but I've seen him around. It's a small town. People talk, right? So he's paranoid, delusional, schizophrenic, hears voices, the whole freaking nine. There's this other chick whose entire family died in a house fire like 20 years ago, and she's never really gotten over it. And so she'll show up at the Waffle House on meth at 2 a.m. arguing with her entire family. And these two people from the outside with zero knowledge look the same with their mental illness, right?
Yeah.
But they're very different. When homeboy gets all trigged up and starts throwing stuff at the Waffle House, the cops show up, pick him up, and they take him downtown and keep him till the next day, make sure he takes his meds, and then ship him back out. No charges, right? When she gets picked up throwing shit at the Waffle House, they take her back to her little group home that she's supposed to be staying in, and she's not actually supposed to leave. But the thing is some part of the time she is a rational adult who knows all of this has happened. She just refuses to face it. And so like every 3 months or so, she wakes up one morning, decides she's getting out, goes down, has a perfectly rational conversation with everybody, convinces them to let her go. She signs herself out on her own recognizant. 45 minutes later, she's down at the Waffle House on meth. screaming at her dead kids that died 20 years ago, and her brother and her husband, and all of these people are dead. Okay, all right. Now that I've set the scene,
literally had one of those. We literally had one very much like that.
Don't get me knocked off the topic. Let me do it.
Sorry.
You got the scene set. You have two schizophrenics that are schizophrenics differently, right?
Yes.
They're not equal. Now,
none of them.
I come in, homeboy that has kind of picked me to beef with because I got a bright yellow truck and he thinks I work for the feds, is like, I know you're watching me. I know you're watching me. I go over and sit down, and I'm like, it's okay, Ricky or whatever his name is. I'm like, it's all right, bud. We all watch you. Everybody watches you every day, all the time. And so it doesn't matter if it's me or somebody else. You know, I'm feeding into this fucking dementia, right? And that's probably not a good thing. But it was late. I was kind of pissed off about something, and it just happened, right? Staff's giggling their asses off because they're used to dealing with it. It was no big deal. Meanwhile, down at the other end of the Waffle House in the corner booth with her back to the entire room is a woman who's been arguing with a dead family for 25 years. But they're still sitting there with her, and you can tell she has ordered waters for everyone. Right?
Okay.
Everybody gets waters while she's sitting there eating her waffle, and fusses at them, tries to feed them. It's a show in and of itself, but it's sad, not strange, right? So she gets up to come pay. Ricky's sitting right there next to the thing, and he gets up to tell me that he's not going to let me follow him around and he'll be watching for me. And I'm like, okay, bud. And poof, they turn and face each other right there at the register and start interacting. And it was like watching AI go insane. He goes, are you watching me? And she says, no, Sam is. And he goes, who the fuck Sam? He points at a kid right next to her that's not there and says, Sam, he's right there. He's been watching you the whole time. And he's like, well, I need to find Sam. Do you know where he live at? She's like, yeah, he lives with me. I'm his mom. And he's over here right there, points at a spot where there's nothing there, right there. And this goes on for 20 minutes. And the only reason it went on that long is because when it's slowly over that 20 minutes, the staff realized, well, that was just me and the staff there and these two schizophrenics. They're arguing, but in conversational tones. They're not screaming. They're not yelling. They're having a perfectly what would appear from the outside to be a rational conversation, except when you hear what is being said, it is the most absurd crap ever. She's telling him that her brother's following him around because she thinks he might be up to something. He's trying to figure out who her kid is that's been watching him all night and who her brother is that died 15 years ago. And so it was, like I said, it was like listening to AI slowly melt down on itself, have a conversation with itself, and just, you know, because it got more and more and more weird until the schizophrenic guy basically broke character. It was beautiful to watch. The entire fucking Waffle House has stopped doing anything and are just standing there watching with their heads cocked to the side like that fucking RCA dog, right? Everybody has realized, wait, there might be some psychological value in hearing this conversation somehow. I don't know how, but everyone went dead silent, just stood there and let it happen for like a full 10 minutes. And then the results were, and this shit fucking tripped me out. I cried. I laughed for an hour and a half after every time it crossed my mind. She's explaining, he's bitching, she's getting worked up. Well, you can't see them. They're right here. Why do you keep pretending you can't see my family? Which is sad, right?
Yeah.
At the same time, he's going, bitch, you fucking crazy. There ain't no goddamn family there. I can see it plain, right? and the Waffle House staff is like debating on breaking this up because he's getting loud and obnoxious. And mid-scream, he turns and looks at the staff and says, man, this shit ain't right. I need to go home and take my medication. This can't be happening. And he walks out, gets on his bike, and rides off. And the fucking chef goes, that motherfucker owes me $14.
That's funny.
Oh shit.
Dude, I still to this day I could be driving down the road and that fucking shit crossed my mind because I can't get across to you what this conversation was at.
See, we
had
had
like playing two movies that aren't even related as responses to each other, editing two random movies together that are just playing out in their own universe. It was wild.
Oh no, I actually do get it. We had a patient who literally the same story, except she was one of the kids who survived the fire, and she never she didn't get her baby brother out, and like she lived with severe like grief and guilt over it, and she would go into when she would go into her episodes, like because she was a huge woman. Holy shit, it would take 5-6 people to fucking restrain her, and she's just throwing them against the walls like the fucking Incredible Hulk. And we'd have to call like actual psych to come and pick her up and take her to the hospital. There was no bringing her out of it. And it was a sad thing to watch.
Well, they had to like literally tranquilize her.
Yes. Shoot her up with
like a wild
Thorazine and
beast.
shit, or Ativan, lots and lots of Ativan. Because, like I said, she was a big woman, and she would be like in this delusion that everything around her was on fire,
Oh,
and
That's fucked up.
damn.
it
That's so
was
messed up.
super fucked up.
That's
And it was
Well,
so
that's
hard to
what
deal
they
with. I mean, we had some people on my unit that made the job almost worth quitting, or you just adjusted and dealt with the fact that you look like a battered housewife all the time. And I was a young teenager at the time. I had gotten my CNA license when I was like 17. And so I loved the job. I loved working with him. One of our schizophrenic patients was like one of my favorite people in the whole wide world. And
I
Yeah.
have a playlist of stuff if you'd like to look through it that I just saved because it's interesting crap.
yeah, I had been looking through. Is this the one that you had referred me
clips.
to before?
Yeah, no, dude,
the
it's
show
just-
clips.
It's Candyland, bro. You got
Yeah,
missing children who turn up alive years later. Helen Carey's story doesn't add up from Elephants in Rooms. Helen Keller was probably a total fraud. It was probably the
Well-
caregiver that was perpetrating that fraud.
Tonight, if me and OG do our supernatural thing, you're coming, right? You're gonna come
What time?
join us.
Easter.
I'm not sure yet.
See, that's the
I haven't
problem
talked
right
to
there.
OG yet this morning.
I have a show at I think 6 that
Okay.
I'm committed to, and it goes until he releases me back to the wild.
right.
Beyond that, I don't know anything else. But I also have a pregnant daughter who's 9 months pregnant and may at any
Yes.
point in time go into labor.
You can.
That's
you
fun.
can guest star whenever you pop in and pop out. This
Here's the thing: our local hospital doesn't have an OB, so I've got a decision to make whether I'm supposed to try to drive that pregnant ass bitch 45 minutes. Actually, it's supposed to be about an hour. I figure I can do it in 30. To the hospital with an OB, or take her to this hospital so they can get her to a hospital with an OB. They have a siren and don't get pulled over.
right.
There you
I
go.
actually have a couple too. Like I've got Idiots in Cars. That one was pretty fun. I'm not sure if I picked this up from your list or not. Human language gene inserted into mice.
Mice,
leads to
yeah,
scar
that's
effect.
my fucking madness over here.
Oh,
You know what
yeah.
happened when they did that? This is so fucking interesting, but at the same time so niche, nerdish, nobody would care. So we CRISPR in a human language gene to code for a specific protein associated with language formation and understanding. The baby mice that are born don't squeak like the other baby mice, and so the parents disregard them entirely.
Mm.
Now, have you ever heard of the myth of a rat king?
Possibly.
So there is a rat king. It is. They do exist, although a lot of people say they're fake and they're just a hoax. But no, it does occasionally happen in places where there are an absurd amount of food constantly available all the time. A group of rats
Oh.
will get their tails tangled together in some sort of material, and they'll get stuck together. And usually one of these rats is bigger than the rest and is the one that pulls the group around. Right?
Yes.
And the condition is referred to as a rat king. But there is an entire lore of like not mythical, legendary, but like old wives' tales about them. How if there's a rat king in an establishment, no other rats will be in that establishment because the rat king will hunt them down and kill them. Although we can't prove this and there's evidence against it, it's still commonly believed, like an old wives' tale, that kind of stuff.
Ratatouille. Woohoo.
I'm just saying, imagine a rat king, but instead it's human language. It's like humano rats. It's rat pansies or something. I don't know, what would it be. Are we creating the fantasy world of our future? Are we literally going to gene editor in fucking elves and orcs and goblins and right? I mean, go look at a Twitch con. Go look at Dragon Con. I interviewed a full-on legitimate fucking goblin one time. His name was Tildar.
I think that well, we know that they have been playing with genes. They've been playing with genes for at least a few decades now. And
Sure.
I honestly think it's, from a religious standpoint, it's not moral. It's not according to God's word. I think that it's going to be the undoing, if you will.
Well,
that's my opinion, and that's coming from a religious standpoint.
This will be the dehumanization of humans.
Exactly.
If AI and the machine overlords don't take over, and even if the aliens don't show up and dominate the universe, and even if the interdimensional beings don't come and eat our brains, we will still fuck ourselves over with our own gene editing.
Exactly.
We are going to unpeople the people, and at some point in time, these unpeoples will be peoples. And then just imagine it. You've seen old D&D cartoons and fantasy settings. Imagine in Lord of the Rings, right? If instead of killing the orcs just outright because they're chaotic evil creatures and always perpetrate bad shit, they allowed the orcs to vote in the Elven councils. Just hear me out. Tell me it would not look like California is all I'm saying. Like the goblins reproduce 7-to-1 to people. Like for every they gestate for like 2 months, 3 months. They are adult in like a year, and they die of old age within 3 years, 5 years, something like that. And those are adults by their standards. That's an adult creature. And here's the fucking rub. They're intelligent. It's only an intelligence of 5 on a scale of 1 to 25, but it is above animal intelligence. And it's orcs, an intelligence of 7. Okay. On a 1 to 25 scale. In Elven society, where the average intelligence is like 17 to 19, that these guys show up. They breed literally 10,000 orcs to 1 elf life, and the orcs get a vote.
Yeah, just because they're lower intelligence doesn't mean that they won't find a way, and the bottom line is, if those orcs, even with the lower intelligent, outnumber people that actually have like a higher intelligence,
10,000 to 1.
10,000 to 1. The general nature.
Hold on. Goblins outnumber orcs 7 to 1. So, and the goblins get a vote too.
The general nature, though, will set up hierarchies. With that particular race, if you will, being at the top of the hierarchy.
I've broken your world.
You have different levels of fucking slaves, and
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like, no, look, I'm taking politics, modern politics, and superimposing it over a fantasy setting and calling it our future, because you will have people who gene edit their kids to look some kind of freaking way, and I don't think that shit's cool. Like,
No, we don't know what that's going to do to people long term either.
And when I say long term, I'm not talking about a lifetime. I'm talking about your great grandchildren.
That too, if you even get that far, because altering one gene it's that whole, going back in time and changing something theory. Altering one gene, you don't know
actually
what other genes it's going to fuck up along the way.
I had somebody pop up a conversation in text the other day. It was right out of the freaking blue at like 3 a.m. This chick asked me what I know about pheromones. And I was like, not much. But it turns out after, running through that conversation, I actually know quite a lot about pheromones, and not so much about what they are and what they do, but about what we don't know about them. Because here's the thing. Do you remember the Gwyneth Paltrow candle?
Yes, I didn't follow it too closely, but
it's a collector's item. It's worth buku money. Keep it. But here's the thing. It's sold as a meme product. It did not sell because her pheromones are more efficient or valuable or better or anything like that, right? It was a meme thing. But the concept of pheromones affecting human behavior has been around since like the 1600s. Yes. Ever since we noticed that animals are deeply affected by pheromones, we wondered how affected are we. But every time we attempt to do this test, it's typically attempting to induce fear, attempting to induce infatuation, right? These are the profitable things. Because if you could spray fear spray in a crowd and have everybody run away, you've got an instant riot buster, right?
Well, wasn't it? It was a candle that smelled like her hoo-hoo. So
her hoo-ha, yeah. So the most of the testing has been associated with either dispersal or attraction. So we have an immense amount of data surrounding the various chemicals that are on your skin, the various chemicals in your sweat glands, the various chemicals in the fat layer immediately below the sweat, below the skin, your olfactory capabilities, and what races, what ethnicities, and what how many fucking receptors in their nose and stuff, right? We've got all of this information. But when you compile it all together, what you end up learning is pheromones exist in the right circumstance. They have an unmeasurable amount of effect on your interaction with an individual, but we can't synthesize it. And part of it's because part of your reaction to these pheromones is instinctual, and part of your reaction to these pheromones is learned behavior. And when you encounter a given set of pheromones that you're unfamiliar with, your brain, your instinctual side knows you're supposed to react, but you're not sure consciously how. And all of this happens below the level of true consciousness. This is all mostly involuntary response territory.
Yes.
So what we've learned is that, yes, when pheromones are introduced in the right situation to the right people, there are cases and studies where the people involved in the studies ended up getting married and living happily fucking ever after. And there are other cases in the studies where they basically tried to do that and completely failed because, reasons. My point is, we know enough about pheromones to know that we don't know anything about them, because we can do all of the sciencey things, but the predictive capability just does not exist. It's barely above board. What's it called? A boilerplate. It's barely above the boilerplate. If you just did it randomly in a crowd, no effect. Nobody knows there's pheromones. Nobody's responding. There's no visual cues. Nobody, you know what I'm saying?
Wasn't that like the selling point for Axe body spray when it first came out? The whole pheromone thing?
There's been a dozen. There's been a bunch. Yeah. Back in the 1800s, there were lots of snake oil salesmen selling pheromone-based Spanish fly, basically.
They're still doing it.
They're still doing it.
Was it CK1 supposed to be about that too? The pheromone shit?
I like CK1.
Sure. But that's what I'm getting at is like, and here's what the science basically says. You, when in your life, may have encountered a person that has that particular panache of pheromones, and you had a beneficial response with it and a beneficial interaction with that individual. Later in life, you come across another person that has the same or similar stack of pheromones, and you will respond more benevolently towards them than you would otherwise. It's just like if you got beat up by a guy who smelled like a gorilla, you might flinch away from big stinky guys after that, right?
Maybe. Yeah.
Same concept. It's just that, if your life was saved by a big stinky firefighter, you might go on to have attraction to big stinky firefighters, right? Big stinky guys that smell like smoke. I'm just saying, we know enough to know that we don't know what's going on in the psychological realm of pheromones. We can do all of the sciencey things all the way up to the prediction. We can measure absolutely everything: electroconductivity of skin, how much your pupils dilate when you encounter a given scent, how many receptors are activated, not, and the numbing and all of that.
Well, we can't, because reactions are completely subjective. It's person by person. You get some people who, laugh when they're afraid of something, or people who have outrageous reactions to any given thing, right? So it's going to change person by person regardless. So it's something we're never really going to have a defined
But and you're not wrong. That's literally what the science says. But it also says, dealing with animals and various other populations and groups and things, that there should be a median line of the average Joe that likes a certain thing and is instinctively wired to be beneficial towards that thing, like fluffy bunny rabbits. Who hates fluffy bunny rabbits, right? But snakes, that's a whole nother ballgame. There ought to be a median in the receptivity in the population versus the mix of pheromones, and that does not appear to pan out at all. And that is where humans are a huge outlier from the instinctive matrix that are laid upon animals, no matter how intelligent the animal is.
Well, I think that even with animals, no, because I guess there tends to be a slightly more uniform reaction, or at least to some things, right? But then you always have those outliers who do
very specific nature of this experiment. We are talking about olfactory sensitivity to chemical markers to trigger emotional and actual active responses. And I think the reason why we're hitting a brick wall in this is it's not just olfactory, right? Mm-hmm. We also respond off of visual cues to a huge degree. And so if the olfactory thing triggers, but the visual cues do not exist, the result becomes something of the opposite. You're not attracted to the person, you're standoffish with the person, because your subconscious says they're lying, they're hiding something. They smell like they're interested, they look like they haven't noticed they're interested. That's offensive somehow. People are standoffish. And so without the proper visual cues, and this isn't something that you can show video of chicks and dudes to the subjects, because that doesn't satisfy the visual cues. It's got to be natural. Right. You have to have macro expressions. They have to be responding to you. And they've discovered that even a lag, filming two people in two separate rooms responding to each other, disconnects the olfactory response from the visual cues and basically creates the same thing that happens when the other person isn't reacting. They become somewhat standoffish and negative with their oppositional experiment.
Right.
I'll be right back, y'all. It's finally stopped raining. I can take my dog out. So
is that what you put in the bag?
My dog went out and rolled in pee this morning. He just straight up flopped down, was rolling around. I'm like, the hell are you doing? And then he got up, he went about 10 feet and he laid down and rolled around in dust and was covered in freaking dust. And I was like, did you just really piss, you fucking mountain? Oh my God. And so I had to sit there and spray his ass off outside, drag him in. He's like 15 acres or so. I mean, he's 130 pounds. He's huge. So anytime you got to wipe anything off, it's a beach towel job.
Yeah, Alaska, the shit, man. The last time I gave him like a good bath and took him right out afterwards, it was fucking pointless. He ran straight for the first freaking bit of mud he could find and just rolled in it, which is absolutely a travesty if you've ever watched a husky before. To have them do that immediately thereafter is just, it'll break your spirit.
Oh, the worst one I've ever had, dude. This was right after we got him. He was maybe 70 pounds at this point. He was big boy, long, lanky, big old gangly teenager type, flopping his arms around like he didn't know what to do with them all the time, knocking everything over, always being a little too excited, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd gone somewhere and spent some amount of time doing stuff in public, and at some point in time someone had spilt some drink on him, and so he had like these little BBs of sugar all over the top side of his back. And when we got home, I took him in, washed him, dried him off, and for a couple hours everything was fine. And at the time we were still, this is my mistake 100%, we were still using the puppy leash. We had bought a adult dog leash, but was still using the little puppy leash because we couldn't remember to hang the other one by the door. It was in the kitchen and he goes out the back door. And so it just had not made it from one location to another. We hadn't gone out that door with him and picked up that leash and come back in the right door. Something. Anyway, we're still using a stupid puppy leash. 70-pound dog. 70-pound dog that will go on to be 130 pounds. He has no idea how strong he is at this point, and neither do I. Go out, I get him washed, dry him off, lay around for a little while watching TV. He decides he wants to go out and take him out the back door. This fucker checks out. He just runs, right? Strips that fucking leash out completely. When the spring on it broke, it cracked the frame, which kind of nipped at my pads of my fingers. And so it bit me and I let go, and he takes off cross country. Runs out there directly to this place where the neighbor dumps out their fucking food and just straight up freaking bodyboards through the middle of it. He just rolls in old barbecue and rancid fucking greens and
any mess he can find. Any mess.
I had just washed him. I was tired.
Yes. Been there.
Took so long to wash his.
Dogs are funny like that. Yeah, Alaska often he gets, you don't expect him to be as strong as he is, and sometimes I don't think he realizes how strong he is till all of a sudden somebody's, on the ground getting dragged or something like that. Dogs are fun. So
They're a lot of work. Dogs are excellent for people who maybe don't have quite enough in their life to keep them from being, absolute shits. They're perfect for that. But first you got to care. Now, puppies can typically make you care, but not always. Sometimes it only works as long as they're a puppy, and that's not cool.
It's Saturday morning. What do you got that's funny?
Funny. I mean, the average Waffle House shift funny over here. I got.
Although that Helen Keller thing is kind of interesting too.
Right. Runs into secret killer dumping body parts. Last footage of murder victims. Wait, no, that's not funny. My bad. Normal behaviors that are actually signs of mental illness.
Pick something, Squatch. I'll put this one on you. I had been putting together a show I wanted to cover some family court stuff and like the Children's Bill of Rights and stuff like that. But that's not a good one to follow up Dusty with. How to train.
Ain't never seen anybody fighting in them rocking chairs, have you? Fun fact! Did you know that there are more than 3.5 million ways that you can eat our hash browns? Which is half as many ways you can catch these hands. Now, before you can serve up an all-star smackdown, you waffle warriors must demonstrate knowledge of our world-famous Bacon's system. B stands for block. Literally anything. If a customer can pick it up, they will throw it. But believe me, some of them got some arms too. Oh, A stands for ask them, are they sure they want to do this? I mean, a hurricane can't shut down Waffle House. I'm pretty sure a pissed off lady named Candace, who just shut down Senior Frogs, ain't even gonna slow us down. That's right, Candace. I remember you, and you still aren't allowed in Waffle House store 542. C stands for coat the whole floor in syrup. That whole thing needs to be stickier than a Dollar Tree fly trap.
Oh my God.
This dude is like hammering diabetes.
Yes, indeed.
Speed
Stand
running.
this guy. Oh my God, I cannot stand this guy.
Really? What's your problem with him? What's the deal?
I think he very, very falsely represents the South that I know.
Oh no, he told jokes that are only kind of funny. He's clever. You don't like clever. That's what you're telling me.
I don't think he's clever.
You're right. He misrepresents the South, and it's hilarious.
And
here's the thing.
Like
If people come down here and expect things to be that way, the culture shock is absolutely written on their face. About the second time they get their ass busted for saying bless your heart. Somebody just blast that ass right out. Just like, the hell you mean by that? I'm just saying. Disinformation is a valuable commodity in any situation where a civil war may take place. And I think people like this are excellent for dumbing down the South, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want them to think we're all idiots, so they just use some stupid plan, and then we should show them that we learned from mistakes and Sherman their ass. Yeah, go check out the Sherman Doctrine. The Shermanator, that's right. We will make them squeal. We will make them squeal, baby.
O stands for offer your condolences to any family or friends who might be nearby. Let them know this ain't an IHOP, okay? This is Waffle House, baby. We're like an oil stain on a comfort colored t-shirt. We ain't going nowhere. That's what's up. Where's my syrup? N stands for knock them into next week. I mean, just start wailing on them. Let out all that frustration that you pin up because you've been having to listen to the same 4 Morgan Wallen songs because the only people willing to download an app to use our fancy new jukebox are 20-something-year-old ladies who just love that man. I mean, I swear to God, he's just Jason Aldean with a cold. That's all he sounds like. Oh, my gosh. And S stands for smoke break. And, buddy, you've earned one.
Smoke break.
Oh, my gosh.
Welcome to the Waffle House. Grab a seat anywhere. I know a guy got fired from the Waffle House for making pancakes.
See, now I want pancakes.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna go make some pancakes in a little bit. But no joke. He worked at the Waffle House for 2 years and ends up getting fired one night for making pancakes. And the way this happened was,
here we go.
It's like a Saturday night. Some Saturdays at this Waffle House are absolutely dead. Sometimes they're fucking banging. There'll be 300, 400 people up there, right? And on this particular night, from what he knew, it wasn't supposed to be a busy night. And so when the crowd started gathering, he was halfway through making himself some pancakes. And about 200 people saw him making pancakes and started ordering pancakes. And there is no way to make that happen. That's not even in the system at all. But he charged them for waffles and made pancakes for like, that dude was flipping pancakes for like 4.5 hours. Made a fucking bank, bro. I'm talking They
Damn.
cleared 5,000 or 6,000 that night. And when the morning shift come in, the chick that was managing that night had an absolute argument with him, and he's like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna make them some pancakes, because I was gonna make me some pancakes, and I got no problem making pancakes, damn what Waffle House say. And his ass got fired the second the manager showed up, walked in, you're fired.
That's what I was
Working at
fixing to
Waffle
say.
House ever
No,
again.
no.
He's blacklisted from the entire goddamn corporation.
This
For
is
making
Waffle House, not
pancakes.
Pancake House.
I get it, Chick. I'm just saying they cleared $5,000 in pancakes that night. This is,
It's the principalities.
I hear you,
Just
girl,
don't.
but $5,000. Before they stopped him, he was still making pancakes when the manager showed up like 3 hours later and fired his ass on the spot. Was like, no, I will call the cops and have you removed from this location.
Just
You
for
are
making
black.
pancakes instead of
Well, it was admittedly a lot of pancakes, but yes.
if they're being paid for. I mean,
Because I don't know this for a fact, but I had heard that he made $900 in tips that night.
oh shit.
Yeah.
Must have been some damn good pancakes.
$1,000. Well, I guess if you want a pancake, you're stuck with the Waffle House, and like I'll go over 15% or 20% for that. You know, I want a
I mean, they
pancake.
got a
That's what I
tasty
want.
batter, so imagine that as a pancake.
I couldn't tell you. They tried to charge him with shit, but I can't remember how. I didn't hear
Oh
how
my
any of that part
goodness.
down. I know it didn't go anywhere. There was no actual charges laid, but I think they were laid and dismissed immediately. But because he was an employee and we're doing the night shift, it was him, the night staff. The person there was not a manager, but was a manager pro tem or something. They were basically both grillmen, and so she couldn't technically stop him if he just decided to go rogue and make pancakes. Now, I want to point out that bitch got the second stack.
He's going down in fucking flames on that shit.
Oh God, $5,000 in like 4 hours. There was a line around the block. There are still legends and myths told about this night at the Waffle House.
Just be all over making pancakes instead of waffles.
And I told that motherfucker, I ran into him a couple of months later. I was like, dude, if I was you, I'm not even joking. I would get me a goddamn food truck. I'd go park it next to the wings and things over there and make fucking pancakes.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, you get you a Blackstone griddle, a little propane doohickey, and a battery, and a solar panel to put on top of that fucker. You can sit right there in your little air conditioned office and flip your little pancakes, and you might make a fucking mint.
Hell yeah. Make pancakes on a stick and just have lots of cups
That's
of
what I'm
fucking.
fixing to go do. As a matter of fact,
Yeah,
let me
license
go
to
heat up
print
my
money.
oven. I shall return.
Yeah,
I'll
we
tell you
need.
another one I saw.
I think the thing that has been like super depressing is watching like the death of the diner since like lockdown. I miss having that kind of a diner around. There's no place left anywhere near me, like within a 30-minute drive, that you can go and just have fucking breakfast. They're all gone.
Well, I mean, the Waffle House may never die.
Wait, that's not true. We have a Denny's downtown, but it's so bad. It's like, no.
That's where
Oh.
people who can't fight go to work when they get fired from the Waffle House. I got another one for you. Do you know why Waffle House employees use a ice pick to flip waffles?
Why?
Because a bulletproof vest doesn't stop an ice pick.
Sounds about right.
Ugh.
For a place that caters to mostly drunk people, makes sense.
I don't know. I mean,
For being turned into an IHOP. Oh man.
U-Hop.
You hop
Yeah.
IHOP. I would kill for
Not
even
for
an
the
IHOP
size.
around here. The Denny's is just shit. Same thing like it. Did they shut down Friendly's nationwide? Or like
I've never heard of a Friendly's. I only recently
you've
came across
never
a
heard
name
of Friendly's?
I'm in the South, honey. Like Waffle
Oh my
House,
God.
IHOP. We got
I
we
didn't
got
think
Crystals. We don't have White Castles.
we don't have White Castle up here. But I thought Friendly's was more of a nationwide thing, and it was kind of like reminiscent of like the 50s diners. That was their whole point. And ice cream. They were big on ice cream.
Actually, wait, Waffle House?
No, I'm talking Friendly's.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Their main thing was
right.
their main thing was ice creams, and so they kind of stuck with like this 50s vibe, 50s diner vibe, where it was really pushed to get like milkshakes and fraps and things
We got
like
a place local, and it's a legitimate, no BS mom and pop's operation straight out of the Great Depression. Before the Great Depression, this place, the location where this place was built, was like a sort of public house saloon type thing, but it didn't actually have walls. It was just a bar under a shed, and somebody operated it. There was beer. That was it. But at some point in time, the pre-Great Depression, someone started selling ice cream out of that place, bought the location, and built a fucking what would later be something like a mid-50s diner, except this was built like 1910, 1915, something like that. It was all it looked back then more like a Cracker Barrel, because it was built to kind of resemble the saloon it wanted to be, but it didn't actually sell alcohol. Instead, it served it was like your soda jerk place type thing. Probably one of the first ones in the country when it comes down to it. His kid tore that joint down like 40 years later, 50 years later, and built in the early 50s a basic mid 50s diner without all of the steel and the futuristic stuff. It was just the same shape, I guess you could say. The kitchen in the center, 2 wings to serve, and general waiting area out front. People were seated and whatnot, but it maintained the soda jerk and ice cream thing that had made it happen. And they added things like sandwiches and other things a lot of meat on a stick, from what I read. Roll through the mid 50s. When the mid 50s diner thing comes through, homeboy's like, abso-fucking-lutely, I've already done it. Let's make this happen. Suddenly, it's basically turns 100% into your mid 50s burger joint, with one exception. And this was not a legal thing. This was just a cultural thing. Both sides of this mid 50s diner had 2 separate decors. One side was all sports and wood and had like little swivel chairs, and the other side was straight up mid 50s booths all the way to the freaking corner, big, huge plate glass windows and the whole 9, right? On the other side, you'd have corner plants and freaking blinds on the windows, and it was just a totally different motif. And when you walk in, all the black people went to the right and all the white people went to the left, and it was not a legal thing. It was just that's where my grandma sat here, right? We sit over here and they sit over there, and there's no problem with mixing. It just doesn't really happen that much. Now, after lockdown, so lockdown almost completely destroyed this place, and they were only able to manipulate the system if they opened a drive-through. So now it has a drive-through, and they actually closed the dining areas on both sides for like 6 hours a day, and it's only open for like 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the afternoon or something like that. It's all drive-through now. And this is funny to me. They still do the ice creams, they still do the shakes, they all suck. what's keeping this thing alive is a 60, 70-year-old black man smoking barbecue.
Mhm.
This dude, like, he's one of he works there because it's the closest barbecue place that will pay him what he wants to be paid to his house. And he went there and was like, "Hey, I'll make you barbecue for this much a year." And they were like, "Okay." And that is all that's keeping this place alive is that man's barbecue.
It's interesting to see like the changes that have happened to those kinds of businesses, like restaurants and things, since the lockdown. Because I mean, like I said, we lost our diners. One big thing, there is no place around me where you can go and get like barbecue for dinner. However, the firehouses, they have their giant like portable grill that's on wheels, and several times a year they'll go set up, and freaking they make a killing when they do. You can go order chicken barbecue chicken dinner, and you get a thing with half of a fucking barbecue chicken, beans, coleslaw, cornbread, like the whole fixins in there. They make a killing with that shit.
This is gonna sound really dumb, really dumb. Me and
Okay.
my wife had this business plan when we were like courting, I guess you would say, and we always had this stupid idea to buy a food truck and travel around to car shows and music festivals and do like a highly niche, highly specialized hot dogs. We were going to call it Simple Chimples, and a Simple Chimple would be $1. And the Simple Chimple is a hot dog in a bun, nothing on it, right? Get some like Hebrew Nationals or some sort of halal hot dogs and just roll with it, bro. Just do the thing. But then I got to thinking, I went to a music festival, and then I went to a what was it? Fucking some kind of fishing con thing. And I noticed I heard at least 30 people try to order grilled cheeses at food trucks, and nobody would make them a grill.
It's a good option to have, especially at events like that where there's kids.
Not just to have, I'm talking a specialist truck, build a truck specifically to do grilled cheeses. The profit margin on those fucking things is amazing. You'd be able to purchase a big old chunk of like different types of cheeses and then do mix and matches.
Add ham, add tomato.
No. Fuck all that. Just cheese. You do grilled cheeses, chick.
Yes.
That's
I
it.
got what you're saying. Okay. Fuck that. I would have a huge fucking thing and have like tomato soup available too. You know how fucking
sure. Okay. You could do a hot spot, but the thing is talking about profit margin, right? You take a van, you crack open the side of that fucker, put a window in, get you one of those chime little doodaddies that you run the card over, right?
Get your permits.
Whatever, all that shit. But then when you get inside, all you need is like a 16-inch by 18-inch Blackstone propane grill, and that's it. You're there. You're cooking grilled cheeses, and if you need to expand, you get another Blackstone and another tank.
Yep.
Right. But like I said, you could have a hot spot where you had some soup set up there. That wouldn't be too hard to manipulate into existence. It's just you have to consider how much energy is going into this, right? And how much money that energy costs. You can't do it electric.
Most spots, especially like if you're going to like say, because like up here where I am, a lot of those festivals, like especially like the fishing competitions, right? They have fishing competitions at all the state parks, and they have spots where people can plug in their shit because it's a state park, right? So that's usually, because I had a friend, she did a sausage and peppers tent one year, and it's when I was really pregnant with my son, and she asked me to help out with that. Morning, Chuck. And
Morning, Chuck.
Well,
so if you're going to the right places, that is an option. Or like next to specific businesses, a lot of them will let you run an extension cord. I think there's ways to deal with it, or even just a fucking camp stove with a big fucking pot on it.
Well, that's the thing is if you're going to do this as a business model, you have to take into account all of your costs. And so I ended up doing that in byproduct of searching out how much it would take to do hot dogs, right? Because that
Mhm.
was the original idea. But then after encountering people doing very similar things, I noticed there's almost any of these places might be willing to make you a grilled cheese,
Yeah.
but that's not what they do, right? And so it's sort of an off menu thing. No, chick, I do hamburgers. No, I smoke freaking chickens or whatever. I
Yeah,
work
I
at
have no
Chick-fil-A.
bread. They don't even have bread to make a grilled cheese. You can have a grilled cheese on a hamburger bun or something. So yeah.
Sure, and I mean it'll be American. That's it. And some
Yep.
people are down for that. Like I saw people paying $5 for some literal white bread with a slice of American grilled on it. I've seen it, and that's what got me to thinking. I was like, wait a second, you could take the first of all, you're going to be
Oh,
charging out the kazoo for these damn things because you're the only one offering actual grilled cheese.
yeah.
So your common white bread American is going to be like a $2 freaking sandwich, but we're also going to be bringing in like the Texas toast king size bread shit for that type of stuff. On the
Right.
other hand, as you're doing the business and you're making profit, you turn that profit into specialty cheeses of your choice and
Yeah.
spices.
Do a 5 cheese grilled cheese and yeah, add spices to it. Add fucking mushroom or
And a
tomato
good
or ham.
tomato bisque. Mm.
Well, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. A hot spot's okay. You could probably simmer a soup, right? The thing you
Yeah.
can't do is like you have a full fryer and
Yeah.
an area for fucking. It has to do with cleanliness. It has to do with like
Yeah.
crossover pathogens and stuff, which is
Right.
one of the reasons these people don't do grilled cheeses without looking around before because that ain't exactly kosher, so to speak. What
I
up,
know what I'm
Chuck?
going to be having me
Abe,
later
good
on
to see you.
today. Grilled cheese and some tomato soup.
I
I never
know.
liked tomato soup. It just didn't. It tasted like metal to me.
I only like it with grilled cheese. And
Oh, I get the spicy V8 tomato, the vegetable,
Yeah.
mhm.
and I pour that in a coffee cup and heat it up and do it like soup, like tomato soup. Drink it warm like that.
When I get sick, I go for a really veggie heavy vegetable soup.
Yep.
It's more like chunks of vegetables rather than soup.
Yeah, I mean that's why I
Always
like
best
that,
homemade.
not just tomato. Got that
Always,
Yeah.
always best homemade, and use that nice bone broth. I save all my bone broths and freeze them.
Ma'am.
If I could, I can't even find bone broth in the store half the time.
Abe, you want to come up and chit chat?
I don't think
I-
Dusty has a bone to
I don't
pick
think
with you.
it's like that.
He just, I don't know. He
He's
he
just.
saw
I think it's
something he-
disappointment.
he saw something he wanted to call out. And he called it out. I mean, that's just him. That's the way he rolls, bro. I don't really know what the thought process there was, but okay.
Yeah,
I don't even know what the hell y'all are talking about.
we can't speak to Dusty's.
Yeah, something
Thoughts
about
on it, but-
something Abe won that got ripped out from under him or something like that.
It's
I
the
don't know
speakeasy
exactly.
thing. It's the verbal combat issue where
Oh,
there was the night Dusty just covered it where who was it? It was Chris Lestrange and Abe, and they both got paid to be dropped and lose out on $1,000 purse, which then Speakeasy had also gotten paid off, but he broke his own rule to revive himself and
yeah.
kept the money.
yeah.
And that is fucked up. And Abe, from my point of view, I mean, I've seen this happen to a lot of people who spend 8-9 hours competing on there. And I get that it's an option over there. I get that's how his show runs. It's his show to run how he wants to do it. But that's why I personally would never do VK, because I'm not going to spend, 6+ hours of my life just to get ripped off if I win.
Yeah.
But that's just me. And I can't speak to what Dusty's thinking or how he fully feels about it. But you should talk to him. But that's up to you to also. You could always just be like, nah, not worth my time. And I know you're a good man and I respect you. And I want to see you win. I want to see you be successful. 1000%. I've always said that. So I think that's where it comes from. Just nobody liked seeing you get dropped out of that at all. But yeah.
Abe
So-
seems to be pretty good people.
After a long night,
He's a Marine. Oorah.
Yeah.
That's my husband. So yeah.
Yep. He proudly served this country
Like,
and he took damage for it, and God bless him. He's got kids and a wife.
I have a philosophy when it comes to dealing with other people, and that is, you do you, boo boo. You do it however you want to do it. That don't mean I'm not going to laugh like hell constantly about it, but go ahead.
Yep. You can go ahead and press play.
out of serving up hash browns and haymakers, go ahead and grab whatever you got near you and light it up. I mean, customers gonna be all right in there for a few minutes by themselves, right? I mean, what's the worst they gonna do? Get up and make their own breakfast? Hell, that's why they're a Waffle House. They're too drunk to even try it. Oh man, I gotta get a new job. Hi, Geraldine, I'm coming back in there. Just hold your horses. Damn.
Geraldine, damn it.
He lost a lot of weight, didn't he?
Well, that's what happens when you do the thing that makes you lose a lot of weight.
Mm,
I mean, what would you do if suddenly you had buku money? You had money coming out your fucking ears.
He did the Kevin Smith
$10,000.
thing, right?
My kids
Something
would
like
spend
that.
it
I
for
don't
me.
know exactly, but I do know it takes more than a little change of diet to slough off 100 pounds.
Yes, it does.
Indeedly do, sir.
I mean, the only time I've had something like that happen, I went from working an office job where I literally had a deli like downstairs and one freaking building over, and I put on like 60 pounds quick, bro. I mean, I was like the fattest 6 weeks of my life or whatever. And then I went from that to roofing in South Carolina in August, and I dropped like all of it. Every bit of that weight that I'd put on was gone faster than you
Yeah.
could say boo. Way faster than it took for me to put it on.
He was stack squatch.
Dude, I used to be ripped. Like I didn't have an ounce of body fat
Like how I
on
made
me.
the pictures, like how I made the
No,
pictures.
not muscle man ripped, but more like what's that dude's name?
Cut.
European footballer ripped.
Oh,
The thing is like you could see the muscle striations through my skin.
yeah, you were more
And-
cut than bulk.
Cut. Yeah, that's it. I was cut. I don't even know if I had body fat, especially
I used to
right
lift
when I
weights
first
in
got
high
on
school.
meth the first time. I went to sleep in class one day wearing a tank top, and a chick drew all of the striations on my arm. She just sat there, and that shit was there for a while. She was a Sharpie bitch. I remember you, Tina.
Yeah, rubbing alcohol only does so much to take that off.
I just didn't even sweat it. It was actually really fucking cool looking. It was just that I didn't really decide for that to happen. I have no idea what possessed her, but I'd been out like working on a neighbor's farm till like 3 a.m. trying to fix some shit. I went to sleep, got up, went to school. My ass crashed out first period. I was gone.
Sorry, I'm looking at the chat.
I can't help that.
I got a fun one. Hang on. And it's a short, so it's not super long, but there it is. Hello, good morning, Beth. Let's get with the program. I can do this. Yes, I can. I don't know if you've seen this one. This is fun.
Uh-oh. ¿Quién viene?
Hangman's coming. Hola. Hola.
We're not doing tickle tickles. Tickle tickle. Good boy.
What are you saying? Are you saying what's up? Can you say what's up? What's up? Good boy.
Oh.
This bird on my head says, "What the fuck?"
What the fuck?
Did you say okay? Okay.
It's fucking genius.
Did you get stuck in the rain?
Where's Walter? I want a donut.
I don't play. I don't play with
Let's pause, because now it's starting to go through my. Come on, fucking A. Tell it to pause
But
and
the
it don't.
feminist was talking.
Oh, have you seen this clip?
No.
No. Watch this shit.
You gonna play with me big?
You see what's in her hand, right?
You gonna play with me big? You gonna play with me big?
Uh-huh.
You
Oh.
gonna finish now? Now, cause one thing about it, I don't play with no mother.
Oh, and that would have been a fucking no, fuck that. I'm telling you, I'd have ham fisted that bitch right between the eyes. When that gun started coming up, I'd have hit that bitch straight down like I was pounding a nail. She'd have went down with a crushed fucking face. Because here's the thing: if I break your nose, you can't see to aim.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh no.
It's gone. It's gone. We don't need that. I hate the fucking autoplay. I need to get that shit shut off. Yeah, that chick is insane. She deserved to get freaking put down very quick. That's dangerous. This is why some people
abandoned them because she didn't care. Over time, the
Come
boy
on,
began
stop
to
it.
believe it.
I'm
Okay,
trying to
that's
fix it.
worse.
Yeah, I'm trying to fix it.
That's
It's
okay.
fixed.
Here, what you got?
It's children who went missing who were found later. Pretty sure. Let me make sure that's the right video. Because you know how it be. Missing children who turned up alive years later from Visual Venture.
Married men. The man clicked on a website for missing children and found a picture of himself. That sent him on a search to unlock the secrets of his past.
A little girl reported missing more than 2 years ago when she was just 4 has been found alive, more than 150 miles from where she disappeared.
This is such an incredible story, and the family tells us they never gave up hope that she would come home one day.
One of these children we're going to talk about had no idea she was even missing. Another showed up alive just when her parents lost hope, and one solved her own kidnapping. These are missing children who turned up alive, and each case just gets stranger than the last. So the new goal, guys, is 2.5 million subscribers by the end of 2026. It would mean the world if you subscribe, and I will do my very best to make the best videos I possibly can for you. I'm Visual Venture, and you are awesome. The girl who never came home. In 1998, a 14-year-old girl went missing. A man was accused of ending her life. He was put on trial and was close to receiving life in prison. Then something unbelievable happened. The girl everyone thought was dead showed up alive. The question was how? Her name was Natasha Ryan. She grew up in Rockhampton, Australia. But Natasha was a troubled teenager. Her parents separated when she was young, and the change affected her deeply. So she started acting out.
Young, Natasha had behavioral problems. She ran away several times, regularly fought with her mother, Jenny, and was suspended from school.
Running away became a habit for Natasha. Whenever she got angry, she would leave home. But each time, she came back. However, running away wasn't the worst thing Natasha did. She had a secret. Although Natasha was only 14, she was secretly dating a 22-year-old named Scott. That secret relationship was about to cause her family 5 years of pain. On August 31st, 1998, Natasha ran away from home again. Her mother called the police. Officers began searching for the missing teenager. But at first, no one was too worried. They knew Natasha had a history of running away. Everyone assumed she would return in a few days. They were soon proven wrong. Weeks passed and there was no sign of her. Then months passed. Her family began to think.
So, do you remember this case?
Not this one, actually.
All right. So here's your three options. She was kidnapped. She ran away of her own volition and is still hiding out, or she was murdered. Well, we know that she wasn't murdered because she shows up later, right?
Right.
So there's only two choices.
I'm gonna go with she ran away, or she may have been abducted, but then decided she liked it where she was, because that has been known
This
to
shit
happen.
is even crazier than that. Watch this.
Maybe she didn't run away. Maybe she was taken. Around that time, other girls in the same town also vanished.
Other women were disappearing, and it seemed as though something much bigger was happening in Rockhampton.
Police believed the disappearances might be connected, including Natasha's. Then investigators caught a major break. In April 1999, another girl went missing. This time, witnesses saw the man who took her. The kidnapper was Leonard Fraser. He did not have a good record.
Fraser has already served many years in jail for especially, as well as a string of other offenses.
The police tracked Fraser down. Sadly, they were too late to save the girl he just took. Fraser already ended her. He was arrested. Investigators suspected he was behind the other disappearances as well, but they needed a confession. At first, Fraser refused to cooperate, so he was put behind bars while he awaited trial. That's when he realized he was in danger. The other prisoners wanted to take his life.
He desperately wanted to be moved into protective custody because other prisoners were eager to terminate his existence.
Police offered Fraser a deal. If he confessed, they would move him somewhere safer.
In exchange for being moved into a murder-free environment, Leonard confessed to killing 4 other victims, including Natasha Ryan.
Fraser confessed to ending Natasha. Police believed him because Natasha disappeared around the same time as the other victims, so he was charged with all of the murders. When Natasha's family heard the news, they were devastated. They even held a memorial service for her, but they were about to be in for a surprise. When Natasha ran away, she went to her secret boyfriend, Scott. For years, she hid in his apartment, and Scott's neighbors had no idea she was there. She always stayed indoors. The curtains stayed closed most of the time. When she did go outside, it was usually late at night. When visitors came over, she hid in the bedroom cupboard.
Where were you? I was sitting down there.
Over the years, the couple moved between several homes. Eventually, Scott rented an apartment that was just 5 minutes from Natasha's childhood home. And one day, Natasha heard Fraser was arrested for her murder and that he confessed. She didn't understand why. Fraser's trial began soon after. Natasha thought about coming forward, but she felt the lie had become too big, so she stayed hidden. Then someone sent a letter to the police.
Police received an anonymous note that said Natasha Ryan is alive and well, with a phone number on it that they tracked to a house in the suburb of Frenchville.
Police still believed Natasha was one of Fraser's victims, but they decided to investigate the tip anyway. In April 2003, officers went to the address from the letter. It was Scott's apartment. Scott answered the door and claimed Natasha was not there. The police insisted on searching the apartment anyway. They walked into the bedroom, opened the closet, and found Natasha hiding inside. Since Natasha was alive during Fraser's trial, she was called to testify. In court, she told the judge she never met Fraser. Since Fraser lied about ending Natasha, the court questioned whether his other confessions were also false. A danger.
Crazy.
So she's covering for
No. You've got things conflated here. Listen. She ran away and moved in with her boyfriend at 14, 15. Her parents were like, hey, she's probably over there with a boyfriend. But when the cops went and checked, she wasn't there. So after that, they search, they look, they try to find, and eventually this dude gets arrested for essaying women and murdering them. And when they gave him a list of people who he might have been responsible for, he claimed responsibility for 4 of them, and she was on the list of the people he claimed responsibility for. So she was listed as deceased because someone had claimed to have murdered her. He's in prison serving time.
Yeah.
Then she stays with the boyfriend for like 16 years or some absurd number of years, like 9 years, by hiding, only coming out at night and keeping the curtains drawn. And she just never went outside, basically. And then she finds out that this dude is in prison serving time because he confessed to murdering her, that her parents think she's dead, that they've had a funeral for her. And not long before that happened, she moved, her boyfriend moved to a house that was just literally around the block from her childhood home. And so they talked about her, you know, exposing that she was alive and all of that. And she decided, well, you know, I'll do it, but I want to wait for the right time. And during that time period, someone calls in an anonymous tip, tips off where she's at. The cops come because if you've got someone hostage in there, we got to know about it. Plus, faking your death is a crime.
Yeah.
So there's that. Although she didn't do it, and technically speaking, not only is there, she just didn't speak out about it. Although she had only recently found out about that, so that part's kind of still in the air anyway. Because according to them, they had decided they were going to come out. They just hadn't decided how or what to do about it exactly.
What's her name? It's very reminiscent of the Sherry. What's her last name? The blonde woman who recently ran away to a boyfriend's. She made it look like she was abducted, but she was actually at an ex-boyfriend's house, and like she made it look like she had been held hostage, like right down to like she had him brand her.
That's the thing here.
One day is like, nah, I'm going home.
Is when this chick disappeared, no one suspected she had been snatched. And by the time the idea came around that she might have been snatched, the searches, the pleas for help on late night radio and all of that stuff had already happened, had already come. She was already on a milk crate, right?
Yeah.
Or a milk box. And so this dude's like, yeah, I killed her, whatever. Anyway, when she came out, immediately it was a media firestorm for about 15 seconds, right? But then you realize the only reason this kid wasn't returned to her parents 20 years ago is because cops suck at doing their job. Yes. That is essentially where because in order for this to happen to child, there has to be a crack. Somebody slipped through the crack somewhere, right?
Right. Well, their process for when kids go missing is totally fucked to begin with, especially, you know, if once the kid is a certain age, you can't report them missing for at least 24 hours.
Right. I kind of understand that, but at the same time, I also don't.
Yeah. Because they say it's the first 24 hours that's the most important, the most crucial.
Oh, it is. It's actually the first 6 hours because that's the time it takes to get a person from public attack to secured location. Once they're in a secured location, the ability to find them turns into a cold case file.
Exactly.
Right? Like 99.9% of the time. We almost never find them after the first 6 hours. They've made it to the secure location. Now, in some cases, like I have a theory. Have you ever heard of the Highway of Tears?
Maybe, but maybe not in that term.
So it's a BC trucking route in British Columbia, West Side of Canada.
No, I haven't heard of this.
These there are an absurd number. Hold on, let me get it out so I don't misrepresent it wrong. There is an absurd number of missing women on this particular highway. It's ridiculous. And so obviously true crime people are like, okay, so there's a serial killer operating over there. But no, the numbers are so fucking high, it has to be 3 or 4. And I'm thinking we may actually have one of those red dragon serial killer cult type situations like the Sales Have Eyes, but rather than using they're truck drivers, clearly.
We had one of those. We had one of those where it wasn't even like a real truck, but he had a truck and he had the trailer, and the trailer was all set up to hold female hostages where he and his girlfriend were torturing and unaliving them. So we've had that happen. It wouldn't be
right, I'll go with a short because it's
whatever you want.
The Highway of Tears refers to a section of British Columbia's Highway 16, which stretches over 700 kilometers or 430 miles through remote and densely forested areas. It has gained notoriety due to a series of unsolved disappearances and murders, predominantly involving younger women over several decades. The highway.
So what we have is there are a bunch, and I don't know if this is coincidence or intentional, but there are a inordinate number of Native Canadian women that are on that list. And the thing about this is the list of women who have disappeared on this road is about 3 times the size of the public list given, because some of these disappearances took place in the Canadian version of reservations, and those are collated and counted differently. And some of these disappearances took place on the actual Canadian highway system, and those are collated and counted by the Canadian Royal Mounted Police. And so when you look at the numbers, it's like, oh, well, you know, it's a 400-mile section of road. Lots of people go missing. Maybe they're in the ditch out there, got hit by a car or something. But no, there are other things that take place on this road, specifically Highway 16 up there. They find what they call caches of human body parts, fingertips, teeth, nasal bones. And usually they will be stacked on top of like a mile marker, one of those little square signs. The little thing will be put on top of the mile marker, and it'd be arranged in like a little circle with all the teeth. And they DNA tested some of these things, and in most cases it's all from a single person, but in some cases it could be as many as 6 individuals. Teeth from 6 people. So not only is it, in my opinion, almost certain a serial killer is operating, the amount of area and activity and the absolute cleanliness with which all of this has been done, 0 witnesses, 0 escapes, 0. There's not even a myth of this. It's just has to be the case, right?
Yeah.
I picture a group of like ham radio operators who communicate through the whole CB system and everything, right? Because there's all kinds of encoders you can get for that shit nowadays. You can be about as private as you want to be on those things if you choose to do it. It's not you. Good. You were actually on my list of maybes. El Perro over there. No, it's not me. But the numbers are so high and so regular. Like it comes up if you go over the past 20 years, and at least I can't remember the name of the channel. I'll try to dig it up later. But there's a guy who went out and got the names of a bunch of the missing girls from the reservations that this place goes through, that this highway goes near, and it tripled the list. And of course he goes, well, we can't attribute all of this to the Highway of Tears, but what we can do is collate the newspapers of where they went missing, and something like 60% of them were on that highway walking somewhere. And so there's no reason not to include at least 60% of them. They would be counted into that. And in almost every case, nothing was found of these victims except for like occasionally some teeth and occasionally a few chips of bone. I believe like back in like 98, 99, somebody found a pocketbook full of IDs from the missing women over like 30 years. Like one pocketbook had all of them in it and nothing else.
Yeah, that should be pretty telling on its own, right?
Right. Yeah. But the thing is like when that was reported, at the time, one of the girls was thought to be alive. They were like trying to search her down in Montreal or something. And so it was thought to be a hoax. And I don't see how IDs could be hoaxed like that.
So if they know this is going on, I mean, how much blame lays at the feet of police that aren't doing anything about it?
Well, the police believe the Royal Canadian Mounted Police seem to believe that the idea of a serial killer existing at all is a myth. It's a unicorn. It's not real. They're so rare as to not be a problem, so they don't even acknowledge the possibility that a group of serial killers could be functioning.
Yeah, everywhere else always they're like, that's just an American problem, you know.
No, they just
killers only exist in America.
I saw an interview a while back, and it wasn't that they only it was that if you break it down to a statistical probability of being an issue, it comes down to the 0.0001% of issues involve someone who has injured more than two people or killed more than two people. And so while they do obviously exist, they seem to believe it is not worth expending the resources to hunt them down because they do so little in the grand scheme of things that it's a lopsided equation. There's less benefit even when you do catch them. It costs billions and billions and billions of dollars to look,
as opposed to losing, one
3
here and
girls.
one there. Yeah.
Not just losing one here, not even looking, not even acknowledging they exist, simply pretending they don't and relying on basic police and detective work to deal with murderers on the outset, on its surface. And I can't say as I disagree with that approach. I mean, statistically speaking, that would be the game theory approach. You would simply
it's a more
pretend they don't
economical
exist.
one.
You improve your police departments. You don't open a new department to hunt serial killers. You make your general police departments better.
And Chatter King, I had heard that about, there's a theory that Garth Brooks is a serial killer. I actually know nothing about it. Are you
I did a
familiar
show
with
on that one night. Yeah, I did a whole show on that shit.
Chris Gaines character.
Teach me.
Well, no. The Chris Gaines character was brought out because supposedly Garth Brooks was witnessed on assignment, and so he popped out this Chris Gaines character to sort of explain why he was wherever the hell he was supposedly seen, because apparently it actually was him seen over there, and so. There's this whole list of. There's another theory that someone who worked with Jim Morrison was a serial killer. The theory is that Jim was, but I think Jim might have been too fucked up to pull that.
I was just gonna say, I think that he's too. He was way too messed up.
There is another interesting theory with Jim Morrison. There's a gentleman who owns a ranch in, I think, Oregon or Washington State, somewhere like that. And I can't remember the name of the ranch, but it's like Perception Ranch or something really doorsy that's too doorsy. Motherfucker looks just like Jim Morrison. He bought the ranch the year before Jim Morrison died, but didn't show up until the year after Jim Morrison died. He and have you heard about the 65 Shelby Mustang that Jim Morrison had?
No.
He used it in the filming of Riders on the Storm video where he's out there tearing hell in the desert in that badass Shelby Mustang car. Anyway, that car was lost in 67.
You don't just lose a car like that.
You do when you're Jim Morrison, because he ran into a buddy of his while he was driving. His buddy was in a bus going somewhere, and he got out of the car, tossed the keys to the guy on the sidewalk, and got in the bus and left with them. And this car bumbled around LA for a while, being sold, traded, bought, and then disappears in like 66 or so, just vanishes like a fart in the wind. There's like 9 of these things in existence, maybe six of these things in existence, and that was one of them. Vanishes, doesn't exist. But do you know who happens to have a 65 Shelby Mustang?
Who?
This
Sure.
gentleman with a ranch up there who looks just like Jim Morrison. In fact, and this is very telling, it's the same color, same shift, same engine, and same build as the car that was given to Jim Morrison. By all respects, it has to be the same car, right?
Well, it sounds like it.
If you go to the local mechanic
gotta
shop
look this up.
near that town, the guy there has records of assembling this vehicle by parts.
You said
Every
it's
single
Texas?
he assembled it from ordering parts online. It is not, supposedly it is not that car. It's just that this guy wanted that car, and so he bought all the parts that it would take to make that car and made it. And that's why he has a 67 Shelby, or whatever it was, I can't remember, 60 whatever Shelby Mustang, like 3 or 4 of them in existence. This motherfucker has one.
1967 GT 500.
Gorgeous car, one of the
Known as
most
the
beautiful
Blue
cars ever made, and it's just astounding. What was the other thing? I can't remember. He won't do interviews. He runs some kind of like a what is it called, a retreat where no cameras, phones, no nothing are allowed. When you show up out at the road 500 miles away from where this place is, like it's way out there. It's a big fucking spread. It's like 30 square miles or some shit. It's fucking huge. And he lives on the other side of that shit, like way the fuck out there. And the only footage of him was taken back in like 73. Somebody literally backpacked their happy ass across it and got to his porch and managed to get about 15 seconds of footage. And dude spots him, goes back inside and calls up somebody. A security company shows up, escorts dude off the fucking property. A security company on a ranch in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, that's kind of sketch.
Dude, it's sketch weird, bro.
I wouldn't be surprised though. Yeah, they can have all those stories. It's easy to tell a story, right? And we actually have people all the time like, who was that one killer that got away? And it's like they found out he was the killer because of his son. His son looked just like him. Not BTK, was it? Maybe. Or
I don't think so.
I don't remember who it is. I know they had already died, but another great one was Jesse James. Like there's a guy who at least on everything that we have that could possibly, like he even has family pictures that are confirmed to like be the family of Jesse James. There's a big conspiracy that the person that was unalived was not Jesse James. He got away. He took off out west. He settled down out in the middle of nowhere.
Is the Butch Cassidy one, right? Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. So 2 separate individuals pop up 45, 50 years later. One guy, now this was done, I think it was in like fucking, what's the name of that goddamn country? Like Chile or Argentina or somewhere like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bolivia, maybe. I can't remember. Anyway, he was in some little small town. Some old white dude calls up a New York Times reporter. Is like, hey, I got the story of a lifetime for you. And you're like, okay, shows up, does a whole interview. He's a Sundance Kid. We got away. Nobody believes it because we paid the guy half the gold that we had stolen to fake our death, and he paid everybody off. And this was Bolivia, buddy. Like that works.
Yeah.
So it worked. And everybody thought we died. We've been living in peace. Nobody bought it. It just kind of fizzled out. It got printed somewhere, just went away. 15 years later, a guy wanders out of Southwest Texas, walks into a news reporter's office, sits down and says, I've got an amazing story for you. And he's like, what's that? He's like, I'm Butch Cassidy. It's like, that's impossible. Butch Cassidy died in Bolivia in 1870, whatever the fuck it was, right? And he's like, no, sir. No, sir. We paid off them boys and they faked our death for us and we left. The locals helped us kill the bandits, and the bandits they couldn't do it. And so that's why they were never bandits anymore. And that's why we vanished off the face of the earth. The bodies that were turned in were actually someone else's and so decomposed that they couldn't be identified at the time. But I'm Butch Cassidy. And he's like, prove it. Well, we know Butch Cassidy had a few bullet wounds and a couple of knife wounds, and we know where they're at. And homeboy strips down and he fucking specs it to a perfectly. Every injury, every wound. He sits and waxes philosophical for like 12, 14 hours with this guy. They go through several meals. He writes down mountains of fucking stuff that this guy was talking about both before and after having faked his death. And turns out, at least according to this guy, Butch Cassidy had a sweetheart in East Texas. And after the Bolivia thing went down, was it Bolivia? I think it was Bolivia. After the Bolivia thing went down, he couldn't get back into the U.S. because that, it rolled into Civil War, and then there was a bunch of other bullshit and Southern sympathizers, Northern fucking tyrants, and the whole nine. So it was like 5, 6, 10 years before he was able to get back into the U.S. without being identified as Butch Cassidy. And he goes to this East Texas place where he finds out that his girl that he was like really holding out for had married some other dude. And he shows up, and this is according to his story. That guy was dying of typhus when he got there, the husband, and he died like a week after he showed up. No fault of anybody, just unfortunate events. And she just transferred right into him, and he moved into that guy's house, and she didn't change her last name and maintained ownership of everything. And they run a farm in East Texas for 40 years.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I believe that, man. That sounds too much like an American story. That's not a Bolivian story, right? That's a happily ever after. Both of them lived happily ever after. No.
Yeah. But stranger things have happened, honestly. Sometimes you just get lucky. One. Oh, fucking off the top of my head, shit.
And there you go. So, it don't get much stranger than happily ever after. In fact, happily ever after, in my experience, is almost a non-starter. It's not even a real thing. There's always problems. Everyone has to deal with them. It's just some people from the outside appear to deal with them better than others. And of course, some people do deal with certain problems better. But we're all losers, right?
Absolutely.
None of us is going to win. We're all going to lose the game of life when we die. So, like, be the best loser you can be, bro.
Right. I don't think
that should be a short. That shit sounded poignant as fuck.
Well, I'll clip it for you. Right. Oh, shit, I got nothing to write down on. That's okay. I'll type it.
It don't matter. It'll be there. There'll be some AI 500 years in the future dropping that stupid line in a bar selling death sticks.
I don't think we push that narrative in culture enough. There's way too much emphasis put on trying to get that perfect everything. And I think I think that's part of why we have such a really bad rate of depression in the world at this point. But nah, though, there's people that disappear like that all the time and then turn up somewhere and nobody visits them. And like, quite frankly, I don't believe Hitler died in that. Shit, I'm not allowed to say that word on here. Am I?
You can hate me for this, Beth, if you want. Tootie Bug, I know you will.
Okay.
I don't buy anything about missing 411. None of it. There is nothing mysterious there whatsoever. And here's why.
Okay.
If any of you have ever done any amount of camping, been to any amount of like outside in the actual wild world, doing that minimalist bullshit, It takes nothing more than a twisted ankle and you're a missing person. You just can't crawl far enough to get out. You're fucked. And it's nobody's fault but your own. You twisted an ankle. If you take more than a 20-foot detour off of a path in an American park, you get exactly what you deserve. Listen,
I don't hate you for that at all.
A fucking mouse jumping out of a bush can make you have a goddamn heart attack or stroke or some shit. I mean, when you look at the numbers, I think there's two things going on here. One, sometimes people take retarded kids out there and turn them loose to the wild, and that's evil, and those people should be convicted. But the fact is, there's no mechanism by which to do it because they're assumed missing when you go missing in a national park. And so it changes the nature of the investigation at its outset, right?
Right.
Two, it is way too easy to be out of sight. Did you hear about the camper who was missing for like 15 years and they found her tent and she was still in the tent in a sleeping bag? She had died of a heart attack or something in her sleep.
Yes.
And no, she had a stroke. She had a stroke and she couldn't get out. And so she spent pretty much the rest of her life laying in there yelling for help. And she was 22 feet off trail. And about a couple of 100 yards, 1,000 yards or so to a waterfall, which was why nobody could hear her. Because all you could hear was but here's the funny thing. There was reports from different campers back, 15 years ago that right south of the waterfall, you hear screaming. There were searches that took place in that area. This woman was in a bright yellow tent. The way it was found is a dude stepped off the trail to go take a poop and ended up literally right next to it. He went into a thick bush, and it wasn't a bush. It was a vine covered tent. And he reported it back to the thing, and they found her in there still zipped up, having written her last will and testament out on like the back of a map. I'm just saying, it's way easy.
It's almost a miracle that she was ever even reported missing, because we live in a day and age where the code of conduct is mind your own business, right? You hear somebody screaming and most people won't.
Not on the trail though. That's not the code of conduct on the trail.
That's not the code of conduct, but so many people have gotten used to mind your own business that actually there's a lot that like this.
Have you ever done any cross country hiking, like trail hiking?
Not like I've done a lot of trail hiking.
All right.
And
so these
I'm
people
the type of person
weird,
who would fucking report that too. But you get a lot of people who won't.
Oh no, he reported it because it smelled like death. Like it still had that fetid kind of. He knew there was a body in there. He was like a Vietnam vet or something, and he was like, "No, there's definitely." He wouldn't let his kids go over there and shit. He went out and cell phoned it in, and they come and did all the forensic stuff. And yeah, she was like 22 feet off the trail. She was right fucking there. They just couldn't hear her, couldn't see her. Just out of sight, out of mind. There's another one. There's all kinds of things that can happen to a person out there.
Yes.
The culture of the place. And this is, I know the East Coast is like this. I'm not sure if the West Coast Hiking Syndicate thing, the Big Sur or whatever that thing is, the Trans-Pacific Trail or whatever it is over there. We've got the Appalachian Trail. And that thing is a fucking beast. I've only done a few sections of it, and like literally only about 8 hours of hiking total throughout my entire life. But the people you meet there are two types. You've got the people who live local and hike the trails like just sort of randomly. And those people, they're very insular. They won't talk to you. They don't interact. They don't do anything. They just walk out there with their damn coffee and light pack for day walking. And then you have the people who are traveling the Appalachian Trail. These people will get all up in your grits. They will land right in the middle of your campsite and realize, oh, you're short on salt. You here, have some salt. I went and got salt a couple of weeks ago. I still got some here. Have some salt. You're going to need it, man. Like you get down, towards middle Georgia and start running into the heat. You're going to need that salt. They're all up in your giblets, and they range from like 18 to 21-year-old guys who just literally walked out of the house one morning going, no, I don't want to go to work. I want to go hiking, and have been doing it for the past year, to multimillionaires who retired and decided they're going to hike the Appalachian Trail. And here we are, a year later, and he's walking along with his little fucking Hurricane trying to get down the damn trail, and he's got 2 or 3 people paid to travel with him. And there's a huge breadth in there. The culture is very inclusive. Yeah, I mean, it's just very inclusive.
It just kept on running.
Well, no, I come across this dude, and I wouldn't do. It was just like a day hike for me. But he was posted up at one of the little off-trail camp spots, which was, not the typical place you would camp. But at the same time, he had 3 people with him that were setting everything up. And he's just sitting there in his little track suit with his goddamn little hunting hat, go to hell hat on. I was walking along, and one of the guys was like, I can't remember, asked me how far it was to the next little aid station thing, because they're not really aid stations. It's just a little building, barely. It's not insulated. There's no power. There's nothing there. It's just where you're supposed to go if there's an emergency snowstorm or whatever, And I didn't know. I had no fucking clue. I was just there on like a 2-hour thing, and I ended up standing around talking to that dude. Then I ended up talking to the guy that was sitting in the old fucker. Looked like fucking, he looked just like Thorin from Lord of the Rings after the worm tongue gets cast out. Just fucking like him, dude.
Got you.
Sorry, answering a text. So I know overseas they have places, and I can't think of what they're called all of a sudden. I was trying to see if I could find the name of these. They're like little cottages that they put along the trails out there. Like there's no electricity or anything. It's just literally a structure with a fireplace where they're always unlocked. Campers can go in and crash for the night there. What are they called? You should know this, Squatch.
Fucking. I can't get nothing out of my fucking brain. I can't get cabana out of my brain. I know that's not it.
It's not it.
It's not a cabana at all. That's beach things.
I'm gonna look it up. I'm looking it up. So,
they're not cabins. They're called. They're like a little shed.
Yeah, well, some of them can be pretty.
The ones near cities are run by park managers. Those are different, but they're the same thing. They're like every 7 miles or every 9 miles.
Hiking cabins?
Like no, they have a specific word for them.
Rescue dorm I said aid station, but that isn't it either. That was the first thing that popped out, but that's what it means.
A wilderness hut?
They have a particular name.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. It'll come to me at 2 a.m. I'll message you.
A bothy?
Bothies. I think that is the name for them.
Is a bothy is a basic
bothy.
Bothy.
B-O-T-H. B-O-T-H-I-E-S. Bothies.
Yeah, that's over in Scotland though. Mostly. Yeah.
Yeah, they're in Europe.
Well, the Appalachian range was heavily colonized by the Scotch and Irish.
I'm surprised the U.S. doesn't. Well, to my knowledge, we don't have a lot of those kinds of setups, which should be.
Are you joking?
Have
you ever heard of the Wiregrass Trail?
No, I don't know the Wiregrass Trail.
Wow. All right. So there's this place in Georgia named Wiregrass, a little town. There's also a place in Texas, on the other side of Texas, named Wiregrass. It's a little old town. And there's a trail that goes from Wiregrass to Wiregrass, something like 900 miles or some shit, some absurd freaking distance. And it's mainly a horse riding type thing, but a lot of people also hike the trail because it's crazy long. It's absurd.
Well, clearly, if it goes from Georgia to there, do they have like that bothy setup along the way?
Not so much. Like I said, this was all right. So the only reason this trail exists is because back in like the 1600s or whatever, a group of people from Wiregrass decided to move west during that Great Western expansion period and pre-colonial period. And 3 different groups went in 3 different little exoduses, but they all went to the same place, which I think is fucking hilarious. So over like 30 years, 3 different groups go from Wiregrass, Georgia to Wiregrass, Texas. And the 3 different Wiregrass trails are the variations between the 3 different trips. And the families that did that have spent ever since then basically going back and forth. And that's how the trail became like a thing. Parts of it are called different things. There's a Sweetgrass Trail, there's a Western Trail, and these are just different sections of it. It's probably the most boring march ever in history because that is almost dead west. There would be no change in weather, no change in temperatures, no change in flora, fauna, any of that shit. Yo, mama.
Hello, little Lippy. I gotta say thank you to the anonymous individual who sent me a Cash App. Thank you very much. I'm looking for something short and fun to play for you.
I got something new.
You got something new?
Hold on, I gotta load it.
It needs to be cute. I want something. I know who the person is, but they want to stay anonymous.
I don't know how cute it is, but it has to do with the Waffle House.
Oh,
like I said, I was doing some editing. Go ahead, do your thing, and then I'll show you mine.
Another I just saw it when I was going through my damn playlists. How you doing, little Lippy?
So mature. I just came up. I heard you talking about the trails and stuff, and the people that actually go out and do that kind of traveling in the motorhomes and stuff. Here in America, they're looking for those wilderness spots, those bothy spots that you were talking about in Scotland, and that's called boondocking.
Yes. Like, what region of the U.S. are you talking about that has those?
All over. Boondocking, your wilderness parks are state parks run by your state national state forest service, which is operated and regulated under their national forest service. So they're just basically, you can go anywhere in the United States to a wilderness area and camp for 14 days. Take in, take out. In other words, you leave it clean and it has no electric. And it's just wilderness camping. You can do campfires and stuff, but everything you take in, you got to take back out.
Right. See, I'm not familiar with them having, at least not up here in like the Northeast, which you would think the Northeast, especially because of the weather that can hit, you think there would be more.
Any trailhead that has a wilderness area, doesn't matter. It's a National Park Service thing. It's open to the public for that specific reason.
Give me full screen for a second. This was the stupid clip that I clipped. Where'd it go? There it is. All right.
If this is your first shift at Waffle House, you have to fight.
Closing this bitch down. Smells like a wet shit in a Waffle House in here.
That's good. That's part of what's going to be one of my donation clips coming up. I'm just tinkering with stuff, but it's. I was watching The Boys yesterday, and I got to like the last episode. And that's a line dropped out of the last episode. It smells like a wet shit in a Waffle House in here. And I was like, oh my God, I've got to get it now, immediately.
I'm working on it. I've reached the point where it's like, okay, I need to create something in order to avoid the copyright problems, especially because YouTube has stepped up their game as far as what is okay and what is not okay. And I would prefer not to get on the bad side of the YouTube gods. So I'm working on it. I've just never used some of these programs before. Like, I'm a fucking tech boomer. I will admit it all day long. I used to be good with like computer stuff. Now, no. Everything has changed. Nothing is the same.
It just looks different. None of the old command keys have changed. Windows still operates as Windows. You can literally balls deep your way right through it using a keyboard just the way you used to.
Well, see, I have my old desktop that has all of the programs I used to play with and shit like that in it. And like, I've got some cool ones like Fruity Loops, which I really need to get into that because that's a lot of fun. You can make your own damn music and really not have to worry about copyright shit.
Hey, I got a cute one for you. I'm sorry, I forgot about this one.
Touchy.
Oh, no. Hold on, I got to turn off the other thing.
Is it a share screen or solo?
No. It'll just pop up over here.
Like a solo?
Just, yeah. Where'd it go? Puppy Boom. Have you seen my Puppy Boom?
But in the meantime,
right here.
Touchy.
Puppy.
I also have a video of Alaska I need to make into a short where he had gotten hurt and had to be put on meds. And oh my God, I should fucking play that right now just for the fun of it. Because
I'm going to go feed myself and probably a whole herd of other people. So,
you're leaving us. I see you.
Yeah, I'm abandoning you in your hour of need because it is my hour of feed and my wife gets hangry. So
that's fair. No worries. I appreciate you coming over and helping out. And
what'd I do? I didn't do that.
Don't
blame me.
You always do a lot, and it's all good.
You brought this stench.
Stories with Squatch.
The stories with Squatch is always good. Stick around. Give me just a minute. Watch this before you go taking off on me. Squatch, god damn it. Pain in my ass.
Probably still watching. He's probably still watching.
We shall premiere the fun video of my dog real quick, because it is fun.
Alaska, you want the treat? You have to take your medicine. Come on. No,
He's such a pain in the ass.
No, first, medicine. You have to take. Come on. Come on. You need your medicine. You need your medicine. Come on.
When I say my dog can talk, I'm not kidding.
Yes. Don't you say no. Don't you say no. Sit. No. This first. Yes. He's shaking his head no. Yes. Yes, you have to.
I don't
I
want
know
to.
you don't want it, but you have to take a medicine.
He's talking over here now.
Come on. Your treat. Sit. Wait. Sit. You want your treat? You do? I do. Okay, well, first, you gotta take a medicine. You gotta do.
He's so precious.
He freaking kills me. He is the best gift I ever got. I love this dog.
Yeah, but you got to teach him that it's a treat. You got to treat it to him like he's a treat. Oh, drop it on the floor. Oh my God!
Yeah. Oh no.
And reach for it as you do that, and he will get in the tune. Oh, that's something special.
That was like day 3 or 4 of him being on meds. I had gone through that where I was doing all that stuff. It got to where I had to start wrapping it in cheese. He would like maneuver after a day of that. He figured out to maneuver it around in his mouth and eat the cheese and spit out the pills. And oh, it was such a nightmare. He never even ended up finishing his damn prescriptions because we couldn't get him to.
I had to get one of those the pill shots where you put the pill in there and you stick it down their throat and do like that. That's what I have to do with my dog because she will pick it apart and eat the cheese or the treat or whatever and just leave the pill sitting there.
But see, your dog's not as big as Alaska. Alaska's a freaking 70, 80-pound husky. Like, and that was the problem, was his back had gotten hurt. Somebody came in my house when we weren't home. That's all I can figure, because of the state in which the house was in when we got home. Nothing was stolen, but my dog was injured, and it was his back that was hurt. So it's not like I could like straddle him and like put pressure on his back to get that down him or anything, because his back's hurt. But he's all better, right? Is you all better? It was bad though. He couldn't get up on my bed, so I ended up taking my box spring, and like, you know how it's like 2 wooden frames with like the metal springs between? I ripped the whole thing apart, so now it's just wooden slats going all the way up. So it lowered my bed like 4 inches so he could get up and down on it. It was rough for a minute there. But yeah, he's a beast. But
yeah, we just lost ours.
I'm so sorry. That's hard, man. I can't even, like, I don't want to imagine losing him. He's been, like I said, the best gift that was ever given to me. And my daughter had gotten him as a gift for me right as my divorce. It was early on in my divorce. Right?
Yeah, he literally found us and adopted us.
Those are good ones too, for sure. I'm really sorry you lost him.
Yeah, he just wanted his freedom, which I can't blame, you know.
They become like your shadows, you know, like part of you, you know.
Absolutely.
Was that yours, Tootie?
Yes, there is a freaking dog that, the people, okay, these same people, they don't keep their freaking dogs in the fence. They don't keep their fucking ducks in their fence. And their animals come over to my yard. Their ducks pick up. My yard is torn up, okay? And then their dog's shitting in my yard. And it's aggravating my dog. So I'm like, these people.
You sound like my neighbor over my chickens.
They're about ready to have roasted pets on their damn
yeah, get yourself a BB gun.
Huh?
Get yourself a BB gun.
Ducks are good eating.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll only have to take out a couple. But no, you sound just like my neighbor over my chickens, which I've said a bunch of times. I have a creek right along the edge of my property that I own. And my chickens never crossed that creek for fucking the first 3 years that I had them. And then the new neighbors came and moved in, and they had their daughter she was like 10 at the time, and she would go out there with food scraps and call them over. So they started, when the creek was low enough, they started crossing the creek, going in their yard, tearing up their flowers, but at least they left them a shit ton of eggs. I mean, a buck ton.
There you go.
But no, it got to where, like, the husband, he didn't mind. The little girl, she loved playing with the chicken, so she didn't mind. The wife started threatening to sue me. And I mean, I was going over there and like replacing her flowers and fixing it myself. But they just, yeah, no. So now I managed to find a couple rolls of chain link fence for really cheap. And we've got to get them up this year, because otherwise my poor birds are fenced into just this tiny little area, and I fucking hate it. I miss them being able to free range.
I mean, they come and they use my ditch as their like personal lake or some shit, their own river.
That's the one bad thing is I can't, because I'm having to fence in my chickens, and where the creek is and how the creek flows, they're gonna lose access to the fucking creek. There's nothing I can do about it. The area that I can fence in that's closest to the coop, because I only have so much material, the side of the creek is too high for me to like put the fence across the creek and get to the other side. And yeah, that pisses me off because they did like the creek, especially when it was hot out.
Yeah.
But you do what you gotta do, you know. I don't like pissing off my neighbors. It's not cool to have that kind of discord. Because then you end up with people who will call the cops on you for the dumbest reasons.
Like stealing your boat and never after you told their kids not to.
Like the music's too loud. You're shooting off fireworks. The original neighbors, oh my God. My brother-in-law, my ex-husband, and the husband next door and somebody else's husband. So we had a whole nother family over. Both sides of the creek were throwing 4th of July parties. And they were so much fun. Okay, like we got along great. If we were having a party, they came over for food, and then we'd cross the creek and get some snacks from them and take shots over the creek together, you know. But they all decided, my brother-in-law had gone down to Pennsylvania and gotten tons of big fireworks, like the big grand finale boxes and shit. And they brought back, one of the ones he brought back was a mortar that shot off multiple, you know, it was like, doo, doo, you know, it was timed.
Yeah, you feel
big
that
ones going off, but it was round. And my ex-husband lit it, and the first one went off and it fell over, and it fired the next one and it started to spin.
Oh fuck.
And then it fired the next one. It went right between the neighbor's house and their garage, like 3 feet from where the wife was sitting. It just boom right by her. And then the next round came straight at my property, and thank God I had these raised garden boxes. It hit the side of one of those. We were standing right on the other side of it with all the kids. So like we're grabbing the little ones and like shielding them as sparks are freaking raining down on us. And all the guys were drunk. They were all drunk, having a grand old time. But I'll never forget the wife over there going, "You're never doing fireworks again. We don't have insurance for this."
The Karen.
Oh no, she was pretty cool. The new one is a Karen.
Oh,
Karen. Oh my God. The neighbors before these people, they used to tear up the yard with 4-wheelers and stuff. I mean, we live out in the middle of nowhere, so people kind of do what they want to do. You have huge bonfires out here. The new one though, yeah, just a little bit Karenish. But and yeah, Peril, I do know chickens will drown.
Yeah,
and that's why I kind of figured they wouldn't cross the creek, and most of the time they didn't. But there are times a year where it gets down to where, like, there was one year the fucking creek was dry for like a whole third of the summer because it was just so hot.
Well, they will fly if they find it necessary, but that's usually only in extreme measures. You know, fire coming up behind them, they better fly. You know, things like that. But generally, they stick to their area. They're kind of a territorial bird, and if you got good land, they're going to be fully engulfed in feeding themselves.
Oh,
you know, a lot of slugs and bugs and things like that. They're going to stay where they're at. They're kind of lazy birds.
Yeah. They were keeping to the yard, totally happy, content. I was getting damn near a dozen eggs a day. It was wild. I couldn't give them away fast enough. I had at least 4 dozen eggs in my fridge at any given point in time.
Well, you know, when it comes to eggs, guys, You don't wash them.
Yep. If you don't wash them, you don't have to refrigerate them.
Correct. So when you wash them, what you're doing is eggs have pores. And when you wash them, you're opening those pores and allowing air in. That's why you refrigerate them. Otherwise, you don't need to refrigerate eggs. That's a convenience thing, a comfort and convenience thing to placate the palate because people are
they got a membrane around it.
Correct.
Because
I got the ducks out here, they lay me eggs too.
Because people have become cupcakes. They have lost the ability to observe nature for what it is and deal with it the way it is because it's healthy for you. That's why we have the immune system. It's so we can adjust to our environment, not so we can weaken our immune system by making everything so palatable that there is absolutely not one speck of dirt on them. When you do that, you ruin things. Dirt is a nutrient.
Yes, absolutely. I've started working on it. I'm doing a series of short videos that I'm recording about weeds that you will find in your yard that are beneficial for you in some possible way, covering, mullein, which is also known as like cowboy toilet paper. That's what the nickname for that one is.
And great tea. It makes a great tea. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. You can get catnip, mint, all kinds of stuff that will grow up in your yard wild.
Dead nettles.
If you just don't mow it.
Dead nettles are another one. And actually, if you have a water source on your property, there's a plant that grows on it called jewelweed. It is the automatic antidote for poison ivy. So you just take that. If you've come in contact with poison ivy, you take that plant and you rub it where you've got the poison ivy. It'll automatically neutralize it and you won't get that big, horrible rash. You can get rid of it very quickly. And it's best fresh, but you can store this stuff. Even if you don't have a dehydrator, just hanging it to dry, keep it in a jar or a fucking freezer bag and you're good to go. So I'm going to be doing a whole series on useful weeds.
I have a sudden craving for an egg salad sandwich.
I wonder why. I haven't had one of those since I was a kid.
just old fashioned, just egg and mayonnaise, a little bit of salt and pepper. Maybe a little W salt.
You got to put some or dill. I'm telling you, try it with dill.
Imagine that would be good.
Make it like you would make a deviled egg. And so good. I keep telling my son I need to make it for him. He's never had egg salad to my knowledge. Another chicken question. Can hens tell their babies apart? I think they can.
Yes. If there's an ill one, they certainly know which one is, not correct. And they do. It's just like any other animal. They know very well the different chicks.
Yeah. And it's interesting. Sometimes you can get them to hatch one another's eggs. But the interesting thing is, even though it wasn't their egg, even though the chick doesn't look like them, when the chick is born, they won't get rid of it. They won't kick it out as long as they nested it.
Well, yeah, that's like some birds in the wild. They will dump the eggs out of one nest and then put their eggs in that nest and have that other bird raise theirs. And when that bird hatches, that other bird, it doesn't look like them whatsoever. It's twice as big and they're still sitting on top of it like they're nesting.
I've seen that hen that was raising the peacocks.
Yeah.
That was so cute.
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that. Can you find the video and share it real quick before you go taking off?
Do what? Who? What?
Can you find the video on that and share it before you take off? I haven't seen that one. But chickens are they're dumb, but they're smart. I really want Polish hens. But I've got someone who's actually bringing me, this rain is a huge inconvenience. I have to expand my chicken coop, but also put up a divider in it because I have 6 more chickens coming this week. One of my friends has too many. She's at 19 now after having babies. And is like, "You want some chickens?" Sure, why not?
There you go.
Is this the
Yeah.
pause? Rewind. There we go.
The hen that raises the peacocks.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, Wizard. You're awesome. And nope, stop. I hate how it fucking switches screens so damn fast because you still got to add it to the stage.
A chicken named Susan has become mother to a peacock, and she doesn't seem to mind that she's raising the most enormous child she's ever seen. Susan's human lived on a property with free-range peacocks, and found alone egg one day after the mother had already left with her other babies. So she slipped it under Susan the hen, who accepted her new role without question. When little Pee-wee the peahen hatched a few days later, Susan didn't even seem to notice that her new baby looked a little different. She immediately got to work teaching Pee-wee how to forage, protecting her from other birds, and completely ignoring the fact that her chick was rapidly becoming a giant. Now 6 months old, Pee-wee is bigger than every bird in the coop. But she still follows Susan everywhere, sleeps next to her at night, and even still tries to tuck under her tiny wing for comfort. Susan struts around proudly with her massive offspring, thinking she must be the best mother in the world for her baby to have gotten so big and strong. The story is so sweet that it even inspired Susan's human to write a children's book, which will be coming soon. I'm Jen, and I post something positive every day. A chicken named
That
Susan.
is cute as shit. Yes, Donna. Even when the eggs don't belong to that hen, she will. As a matter of fact, there are hens that will steal eggs from other hens just because it's called brooding, right? They get into this tunnel vision of.
It's like post-menopause.
Huh?
It's like post-menopause. They
Yeah,
get in a mental state, and they
All
have
the
to
babies
have
are mine.
right.
Yep. All the babies are mine, and the chickens will fight over it because you'll have a hen who lays eggs right next to them, and this one hen just really wants babies and will go around and steal everybody's eggs and move them to her nest because they are still territorial about their nesting spots. And yeah, and then you'll have some chickens. I've got one right now. I don't know what the fuck to do with her. I don't want to put her in a pot. She's breaking other hens' eggs. She being
Then you put her in a pot.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of.
You know Joel Saddlein?
No.
Here.
Oh wait, that's mine. Damn it. I'm clicking too many times.
About 10 minutes long.
Where is it? Okay, there you go. What's up?
Not have any vet bills. So many animals. Our whole goal here is immunological function. That requires several pieces to work. The first thing is genetics. You want strong genetics. For example, we practice ruthless culling. What that means is one mistake and you're out.
One mistake and you're out. A hen starts breaking other eggs, you're out.
Mm-hmm.
Soup pot.
So a cow, if we have to lay hands on a cow during birthing, we let her raise that calf, and the calf and the cow go to slaughter. They're going to be into hamburgers. No second chances. This is one of the hardest things.
And the calf? Wait a second. Why the calf too?
Because it's a genetic trait. So if the genetic trait follows, they don't want it in the herd. This is the same thing that nature does. If a chicken has a clutch of eggs and one of them's bad, he's going to dismiss that egg. He's going to not feed that chick. The other chicks will even bully that chick. It's natural selection, and this is the utmost power of nature, and we have to start listening and observing it.
Real quick before you press play again, Donna, the same person who's actually bringing me 6 more hens this week, gave me a rooster. And within 5 minutes of adding him to my flock, he pinned down the trans chicken and mated her. And she's all better now. She is fully submitted to him. She stays right by his side wherever he goes. And she's all better.
Is because, they get attached to their animals, they name them, they, all sorts of things. And we can.
Yeah, when you name things, it's an ownership and an attachment as an emotion. Otherwise, you see a lot of these cattle farmers, they tag them by the ear with a number. This is the same thing with the census population. When they tag you with that social security number, folks, the same thing.
I just hate I don't know. I'm not personally good with killing things. I would have to find someone else to deal with the hen. In the meantime, I just try to keep her separated, although she doesn't like that. She wants to be with her flock. And then I go out, I hear all kinds of yelling. I'll go out there and she's got yolk on her head, and it's like, you fucking bitch.
Yeah, you get rid of that one.
In the last couple days, though, I'm finally actually getting eggs again. They are laying eggs and they're not being destroyed. So I don't know. I don't know.
I'm of the belief of this guy here, and if it would have been me, I'd have taken her right out in front of all the other chickens and taken her head right off.
Yeah.
In a soup pot, and that
I need someone else to do it. I need somebody else to do it. I can't. I have issues. I have realized that if I ever did go off grid like I wanted to, I would probably end up being a vegetarian except for eggs, because I just can't do it.
Yeah, I'd be hunting squirrels, rabbits, coons, fishing, pheasants,
I have no
like that.
I have no problem hunting squirrels. I've done it all the time. The bastards chewed a hole into my heating ducts, so I sat out there for a week picking them off.
Yeah, and some goats for milk. Yeah, some goats for milk and cheese, and
yes.
And when they get old, then you can use them for meat. Goat meat is not bad. All kinds of stuff.
See, I need a man.
Hey guys, I gotta dip out. I'm getting so tired. I'm fixing to have to take my medicine and everything's gonna kick in. So
thanks for coming, Tootie. I appreciate you.
If y'all are on later, I'll catch you. Okay.
Yeah, I might power down for a while and get a few things done and then go back up later this evening if you want.
Sounds perfect. All right.
I got some shit I want to cover for sure. Later.
So yeah, when it comes to farming and stuff, this guy's going to mention it. I think rabbits he mentions in here. Rabbits is one of my favorite things to be able to do, because upon my observance with the local Amish community, every last bit of those things can be used. You can use their pellets, their fecal pellets for distillation and making fuel. They have so many they are so fucking packed with nitrates that you can distill their fecal pellets into fuel. So
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
Gertrude, she's our favorite goat or whatever. But if you don't practice ruthless culling, you will gradually get an inferior genetic hardiness. Here's the deal: if you've got a herd of 10 or a flock of 10,
and this is going to those immunities and vaccinations. This is the point of this video. Your farm doesn't need a vet. You don't need to vaccinate.
Of them,
yeah,
it's parasites.
You can absolutely, through their diet, you can control, that's how I am with my chickens. I give them red pepper flakes which kills off any parasites, because chickens can't taste heat. If somebody starts sneezing or, coughing or whatever, I'll put thyme in their water. And then I regularly put oregano in their water. It acts like a natural antibiotic. Put some vinegar in their water, also for gut health. You don't need all this shit.
if you listen to this guy, you'll understand. His family's been doing this for a long time. He himself has been doing it for 60 years. 60 years of firsthand experience. No vet. And that's from his family. That's firsthand education from his family that's been doing it for decades or for centuries. So when it comes to the immunizations and everything, it goes to your natural environment, how you rotate your flocks. Pay attention.
Definitely put the link in the back chat for me too, so I can sub to him, please.
Sick, has birthing problems, you name the issue, has pneumonia, and the other 9 don't. Clearly that one has a weakness. They're all.
You're muted.
Clearly the one has a weakness and the others don't. And that's what he's pointing out. Just because one child in your house gets the flu doesn't mean the others will. It means that child is a weak one. That's what he's pointing out. And we're dealing with this because we're compassionate people and we don't want to get rid of our children, which is feasible because we're the dominions. We're supposed to be able to figure this stuff out. But our figuring it out is not being done on the natural observances of the natural world anymore. It's being done by pharmaceuticals, which is dumbing down society and making us even more diseased.
Have the same place, they're in the same feed, they're all in the same situation. One of them is weak, the 9 of them aren't. And so number one, genetics, ruthless culling. No second chances. No, well, let's see what they do next year. Nothing. Ruthless culling. Number 2 is...
And that goes to the parable of the olive tree. The tender of the olive tree that was diseased and didn't produce fruit. And he said, give me 1 more year. Now that's relative to plants. When it comes to animals, that does not apply.
To make sure they get their complete component of vitamins, minerals, and of course, nutrition, diet. Give them the full nutritional profile they need. And in livestock, a lot of that is mineral, because our soils generally, certainly east of the Mississippi, are mineral depleted. They've been leached over a lot of time. Most of us are farming on subsoil. We just don't have the mineral.
And that's what I was saying about the soil. Those are the soil is your nutrients. It's where you get your minerals and stuff from.
Whoever's in the back chat, not sure who you are, your devices aren't working. Okay, they dropped anyways.
Own it.
Sorry.
And so we spend, just compared to other people I know around, we probably spend 4 times as much as they do on mineral, and good mineral, not from the feed store, Thorvin kelp, fur trail, poultry NutriBalancer, get the good stuff. Don't get it from Tractor Supply. Don't get it from, down at the feed store. Go outside the system. And that's where you find the good stuff. So, good mineral. That's number 2. Number 3 is simply hygiene. I'll get on a soapbox here in a minute, but let me tell you, the filthiest chickens I've seen are not at Tyson. They're on homesteads where people have 10, 12 birds in a flock. They've got them in this little coop on a dirt floor. In the spring, it's all mud and it stinks to high heavens. The kids don't want to go in there because it's yucky and smelly, and the birds are carrying dirt. Their feathers are dirty. Their feet are dirty. And so, of course, this is our calling card. Move them. Keep them moving if they're on pasture, if they're outside, and if you have them confined inside, the carbonaceous diaper. That's all in this. We've done tremendous work in portraying this sanitation, this hygiene thing, so that
and the carbonation diaper he's talking about is a layer of straw and hay and stuff that will collect and their fecal matter and act like an absorbent, just like cat litter, and prevent the smell and corrosion. So it's something that you clean up just like you would a cow's stall. You got to clean it up. Otherwise, if you're moving them in the chicken trailers where you got a cage and it's on wheels and you move it from one spot to another.
I built one of those.
Yeah, and you have to still depend upon nature to help take care of that fecal matter that they leave in the old pasture, the pasteurized area, as a fertilizer for life. So the microbial units in your where you've been letting them feed are going to have an uptake and thrive because of that. And that's an actual fertilizer, not just for the bacteria and stuff, but then for the plants and stuff that feed on that bacteria later on when it dies. This is the same thing with your gut biome. You have to feed the bacteria in your gut biome. And if you guys don't understand, a little piece of chocolate just before you eat dinner or just before you eat a meal, it activates the bacteria and bile in your stomach. So it's active and ready to start digesting food as soon as you start eating. If you don't do that, then it causes the body to exert even more energy to do the digestion. And it's just a more efficient way of digesting food by knowing how it operates. So a small piece of chocolate to get the insulin in your stomach and the bile acids and everything going is a startup for that burner. It's a furnace. Your stomach is a furnace burning up fuel. And if you start it, it's like a diesel engine. If you try to start it cold, it has a hard time. If you warm it up, which is what the chocolate's going to do, it's going to warm it up and it's going to get it going full function for your actual food digestion.
Animals aren't breathing in fecal particulate. You know, in a Tyson house, those birds, their entire life, they are living right on their toilet. That dust comes up into their nostrils and acts like sandpaper in their respiratory tracts, makes abrasions, and that fecal particulate goes right into their bloodstream. No wonder they need antibiotics to stay alive. So the key here.
No wonder they need antibiotics to stay alive. That's what he's pointing out. If you're dealing with diseased chickens, filthy chickens, that's why you need the veterinary care. And if you're doing it right by nature, you don't see that kind of stuff. You don't see birds all squalled up in one big spot like you do fish in a pond where they'll school up. You don't see birds doing that, except in storms where they flock together to protect themselves. And that's the only time you ever see it. So when they're eating and doing the rest of their natural life, they don't even roost together.
Another key is the hygiene. Keep them moving if they're outside. If they're inside, a carbonaceous diaper so they're on a compost pile and there's no smell. If it stinks, think what it is to the animal who lives in that all the time. So it should be, it should not stink, and it should be beautiful. It shouldn't be a problem that way. Another thread of this, I'm just kind of, off the top of my head here. Another thread of this, of course, don't keep geriatric animals. That's another one of my soapboxes. These folks with little backyard chicken flocks, they name the birds and they've got 7-8-year-old chickens. Well, a chicken's not supposed to live that long. If your chicken hits 4 years old, she needs to go in the stew pot, because those geriatric birds are susceptible to pneumonia and bird flu and all sorts of maladies. And so keep young stock, a cow, a sheep, a goat.
As well as, once they get a certain age, it's just like a woman that has no more eggs left. They're not going to bear eggs too well anymore. So it's I'm not saying throughout the older women. I am saying throughout the older chickens, though.
Yeah.
They're not conducive to the flock. They're becoming an expense.
Exactly.
Now you have to upkeep them rather than, and they're not producing what you need them to produce. Get rid of that emotional attachment. Even if your children get attached to that chicken and they want to keep it, no, you have to teach them the lessons of life as well. That's the importance of all of this. You have to teach your own children those lessons. That's why I say this guy's been doing it 60 years because his family's been doing it for decades, and ain't nobody can stop him, not even the FDA. He's doing better than the Amish by selling his beef and shit without those regulations. He's able to do it because they are cleaner than the FDA, than what the FDA standards are. And there's no vaccinations.
A female, the year they come up open and not bred, they won't breed. They got to go.
So in their first year, if they don't breed, that's an indication that there's something off. Everyone should be capable of breeding by a certain age. All animals should be capable of breeding by the average age. And if they're not doing that, then there may be something wrong and you don't want to take that chance if you're using that for your livelihood. You don't want that one chicken raising a brood of other chickens that are all going to do the same thing and cost you an extra year before they start laying.
Yep.
You can't sit here and run a geriatric nursing home for your animals. They've got to pay their way and pay their bills. And then I would say finally for us, a lot of it is simply the diversity, the fact that these animals we have a lot of different kinds of animals, and they're in proximity to each other, which means that the pathogens, almost no pathogens cross speciate. They're species.
This is where we're getting into the vaccines and the pathogens and stuff. Like I said, with the rotation of your flocks, you have one flock going through and pasteurizing first, and then you send the chickens in. And what they'll do, like say cows first, and then you send the chickens in. The chickens will go through those fucking dung piles and get all the beetles and bugs out of there and all the slugs and the grass and stuff. Then you send your goats in to trim down that grass and bare the soil so that the soil can regenerate. And then all those seeds and everything are open to the sun and they get to regenerate as well. So the next season, you got a nice pasture again. It's got all the earth biome and everything. And you do the same thing. And you rotate the flocks. You rotate your flocks in a certain manner, and they will take care of each other.
Specific. Cow parasites don't affect sheep, believe it.
Real quick, it's helpful for anybody who is going to get chickens. A good tip, and there's a lot of different breeds that are heavy egg layers, even without a rooster. The best bet I found anyways is change up what kinds, get 1 or 2 kinds of chickens the first year, get different kinds the next year, and then you don't have to worry about forgetting or knowing who is from which year, how old each of them are, as long as you can remember which kinds you got on which years. Just makes it easier for rotating them out.
Yeah, and that's going to go the same thing. Chuck said they're chicken tractors, correct? Because they've got wheels on them and you tractor them around. Same thing with rabbit huts, rabbit clutches. You can do the same thing. Put them in rabbit tractors and do the same thing. And I love the concept of rabbits because, again, you can use every inch of them. Feathers on a chicken you can't use so much, so you just pretty much got to get rid of them unless you're making pillows, which is a bygone way. There used to be a time when, they used every part of the chicken, including the chicken feet. Today, not so much. It's just the meat, and they get rid of everything else, and it's bullshit. So again, it's a matter of, it's just one of those things. Rabbits you can use for the meat, the pelts, and then of course, like I said, the fecal pellets that you can use to convert into fuel by distillation.
Believe it or not, and sheep parasites don't affect cow. And so one of the best things you can do, for example, for sheep parasites, is to run cows and then run the sheep. And when the cows eat the grass with the sheep parasites on them, those parasites die. So what we want are pathogen, what I call pathogen dead ends, so that the different things can be ingested by another species, another host that kills them, and you don't have the problem. So I'm convinced that a lot of our immunological function here is simply a byproduct of running different kinds of animals through these fields in proximity to keep the pathogens confused.
And that's the importance of the diversity he was talking about with those different flocks. They will take care of each other naturally because that genetic barrier, cross-species barriers, it doesn't happen in nature.
And confused pathogens are a good thing. So there's several threads there, several things, but working together, we run hundreds of thousands of animals and just literally do not have a vet bill. One other thing I'll say about that is we also don't do heroic measures. If a chicken gets sick,
and I'll mention real quick that whoever stopped in back dropped a link. So
yep,
I imagine that was
Donna.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's another farm that's doing this kind of stuff. I don't know about the veterinary care stuff, but the self-sufficient living.
What's a chicken worth? It ain't worth much. It certainly isn't worth $100 vet bill. And so we let it die. We have done several times over the, our 60 years, we've tried to have a calf with cesarean section from a cow. Cows can't get the calf out. The vet comes, do a C-section. They've never been successful.
Never been successful. Okay, so understand, in nature, some things don't work the same way as we find in our medicine.
Yep.
So we have to go back to that drawing board and see if there's a different way. And if there's not, that's what this guy's imposing, is just let nature take nature's course. There are some things that you just shouldn't mess with in nature.
You always lose a cow. At least we have. And so what are heroic measures worth? There's a certain time in which, you just have to let it go. And is it worth a $500, $600, $700 vet bill? Probably not. I'm sure that some of the things that we would just, if a calf gets pink eye, and we don't have much, we have almost no pink eye, but if we have a calf, usually they're late born calves, and they're born out of season and already stressed because they're born out of season, gets pink eye, blind in both eyes. We just put the calf down. It's just not worth a bunch of fooling around with medicines and all this. It just takes time. One of my favorite stories is these two New Zealand guys.
So there's a limit to the compassion for the allowance of life. So in nature, that calf would die anyway.
Yeah.
In our modern times, it's only because we have the veterinary care that we can allow it to live. Should we, is the question.
Exactly. There does come a point when, financially, it's just not worth it. And we're not talking about, like a dog who is constantly working for you their whole lives. There does come a point in time when, especially with livestock, you can't even eat it anymore once it reaches a certain age.
Correct.
So it's hard. And this is why it's like I said, like, I need a man, because that part of stuff I'm not good at dealing with it at all. I will end up feeding my goddamn chickens into their old age when they die on their own. And even then, I won't be able to eat them because they're going to be too old and everything else. It's a mess. It's a mess.
Well, shame on you.
I know.
Came to visit us, one October.
I'll find a
they
good
were
man.
in the
Don't worry,
States.
Wizard.
And they came out. We had them to dinner. So we're sitting there eating dinner, and it suddenly dawned on they were in their mid-50s, two brothers. They had a huge sheep operation in New Zealand. A lot of sheep. They had about 3,000 ewes. So, I mean, this is a big operation. When they have lambs, they got like 4,500 lambs. And we're sitting there having dinner, and suddenly it dawned on me, it's October here. I said, it's spring.
And one of the issues over there in Australia and France and stuff like that, they're mandating the vaccinations of those flocks.
Yeah, we can't let that happen here in the U.S. We really can't.
No, we've got to step up. And, the world has a lot of faith in Americans, because Americans are the testing grounds for all this bullshit. It's the other nations and their weak people. And I'm not saying Americans are strong. We're dumb as fuck. Average of 8th grade reading comprehension. But evidently it's better than a lot of the countries around the world. So we're still the leader in certain things. And we really need to step up and standing up against this tyrannical bullshit. When these kind of people know better than the FDA, and the FDA is just passing shit for money, for monetary schemes and stuff, we have to learn to stand up and say we need to go back to our nature. We need to go back to our nature, folks. That is a very strong opinion of mine.
There, you're lambing. Oh yeah, mate. We're lambing. That's when we leave the country, because if we stayed there, we'd lose our marriages, because we'd be living in the barn with the sheep. And so when it's lambing time, we just leave the country, and the ones that make it. The ones that don't. The buzzards clean them up by the time we get home, and that's the way we make money with sheep. And I've never forgotten that story. I mean, to a person who's only encountered animals as pet cats and pet dogs, that sounds harsh, but.
Pause real quick. A big thank you to Stanley for the Cash App. I appreciate you supporting the show. It's been a minute since I streamed. Starting to pick it back up here and figure things out. I'm glad you're enjoying the content. This is something I definitely enjoy covering myself, and I'm looking forward to doing a lot more with this topic. So thank you very much, sir. I appreciate you.
And so what we're talking about here again is that aspect that those other farmers took on one aspect of the natural process, and that is just letting them have their birthing process by themselves without any interference and let nature take its course. And that's what they should be doing all season. Let nature take its course. You know, of course, in that kind of a setup, you got to provide them with their feed and stuff so you grow your crop for their feed, you know, do the pasturing like this guy's talking about. So you're not buying the grass-fed stuff for your beef. You know, you're feeding them on your own property instead of buying grass provided from other farmers, which is a large portion of what goes on today. You have cattle and feedlots where the feedlot is not producing anything but the cattle. So they're shipping their green in from other farms. That's a different biome. That's a different earth biome. So it all plays together in letting them feed off the natural area rather than bringing in greens from other areas of the country for feedlots. It's not conducive to their nature.
Wolves are harsh too. And they picked off the stragglers and picked off the ones, and that's why we have buzzards to clean up the ones that don't make it. And so I think part of it too is simply that we just have found that heroic measures just don't pay. And so let it go, let it be a lesson, whatever you learn from the situation. And maybe you picked the wrong mother, maybe you picked the wrong father, maybe you picked the wrong time of year, maybe you didn't clean things up well. There's any number of things, but dust yourself off and go on.
And that's the other big thing. Something that I've definitely noticed a huge difference in it. With my chickens, I did really free range for a long time until the newest neighbors started pitching a fit because their child enticed my birds to cross the damn creek. When they free range, they eat so much less when it comes to like the feed that you have to buy, right? Not only that, but chickens, much like pigs, can eat damn near anything out of your kitchen. So your scraps and shit, just throw them all out there. In fact, when I go to the grocery store, I'll look at like their super clearance stuff, you know, the lettuce that is just way too far gone for humans, but it's still just got enough life that like I can throw them the hearts for fucking 50 cents or something. So there's good thing, you know, the more free range you can get them, the better, and give them freaking your scraps, the meat too.
Yeah, so check them out at farmlikealunatic.com. Farmlikealunatic.com. And his channel is Farm Like a Lunatic with Joel Salatin. But farmlikealunatic.com will bring you to the YouTube link as well. But on YouTube, it's Farm Like a Lunatic with Joel Salatin.
You want to... Oh, I got it. All right. I'm going to drop that link out front.
Yeah, I dropped the link to that video in the chat, so you should be able to see it. And then in the back chat, you'll have to drop it down below.
Yep.
And then this is Paragon. This is Paragon Ridge Ranch. This is the one Donna sent us. And they've got 56.9 thousand subscribers with 1,000 videos. And it says, "Welcome to our homestead journey. At our Oklahoma homestead, we're passionate about sharing our experiences and knowledge on all things homesteading. Our YouTube channel is the gateways to our world. We invite you to join us as we document our adventures and provide valuable insights into raising chickens, tending our remarkable highland cattle, cultivating bountiful gardens, mastering the art of building, and practicing sustainable land management techniques. Follow our journey to stay up to date with the triumphs, challenges, and everything in between as we work diligently to create an exceptional homestead. We believe in the power of community and welcome you to become part of us, or part of ours. Together, let's learn, grow, and build a remarkable homestead life. Join us on this extraordinary journey as we forge a sustainable future one step at a time. Welcome to our homestead journey. Let's make memories, cultivate knowledge, and build dreams together. Absolutely. They get a sub from me.
Me too. I already subbed to them, and I dropped both their links up in the chat. Everybody, if you're interested in this kind of stuff, definitely hit these up. I've got to go through. I am missing the link. I had a guy that I was subbed to and watched a lot, and I have no clue where the channel went to, that does a lot of growing food with a small amount of space, how to maximize your growing. Like, for instance, growing zucchini and then trellising cucumbers or something, or corn right up in the same little square foot. You can make that shit work. Some plants grow great together because of what it is that they're taking from the soil, and you can get way more out of it. So yeah, and this year I'm doing my best to document how I do my garden. My garden is always like, I end up with so much food, it's not funny. And then come closer to fall, I'm gonna do videos on how I process, can it, freeze it, yada yada.
Yeah, so it looks like they've been going 3 or 4 years here. I'm still going down to the bottom. Yeah. 4 years.
Nice.
At least. We're still, my computer's lagging for something. I think I've got it loaded up with too much information. Need a new computer.
I'm definitely gonna have to check out their coop, Donna, because man, I've been working. So my coop was good originally. We didn't have any problems. We fit. Oh God, I had what? I've got 6 now. I had 13 in my coop. They had plenty of space. Happy as all shit. And then a mink managed to get in there. I took out half of my fucking flock. And so I had to tear the whole thing down, redo it in a way that was going to be fucking mink proof. Because with minks, you patch up one hole, they'll make 3 more. Minks are evil little bastards. And I swear to God, no matter how cute they are, take them out. Don't let them around. So I'm definitely interested in some more coop tips. Because, oh.
Look, they even have bait and fishing tips.
Nice.
5-pound largemouth bass, caught on small local pond. His personal best ever. Good
I
catch.
wonder if you used corn. It's amazing what you can catch with a few kernels of corn. Just saying.
Yeah, we're 6 years ago. 6 years they've been doing this, so
badass.
good experience there. A lot of good contact information. I'm sure they'll have a wealth of information on others that are doing the same thing.
And you can do this stuff anywhere. You don't have to be in the middle of America or further south where it's warmer. You just need to know what to grow and how to preserve it the best. Root cellars are another big thing. I want to freaking do a root cellar at some point. It's just a matter of finding the right spot on my property.
Well, and that's what the Short Boss Podcast TV is all about, folks.
I'm gonna get your link up there too.
Yep, getting back to nature and learning what we can use with the technology and what we should throw off. The things that we shouldn't use, like the fertilizers, like the vaccinations. Those are technologies that we don't need. So modern technology isn't just the electronic devices. It isn't just the solar panels and things like that. It's all the medication and homesteading stuff that we're dealing with. Like I mentioned, the kid and the fishing tips and techniques. That's part of your homesteading, is being able to gather from your natural environment, even on things that you don't provide flocks, things that you're not shepherding. You're still a steward to the land, so you can still gather other substance from the land for your own use that you're not having to tend and care for, except through your natural activities such as fishing and hunting.
I need your link for that again, because I have 3 links for you, and I don't think any of them are the Short Bus Podcast.
You should be able to just put in Heckle Bus Rides with a hyphen between Heckle Bus, and I'll put
On
it down
YouTube.
there. Yeah, and or you can just look up the Short Bus Podcast TV. Just punch that into your YouTube thing, and it should pull it right up. Same with Little Lippy. You know, my channels shouldn't be hard to find because I've chosen unique names for them, and they should pop up at the top of your search. That way you can find my channels without a link. I can just mention the name.
I've got Little Lippy.
Yeah, now just punch in Short Bus Podcast TV into your YouTube search. And Short Bus Podcast TV should be one of the very top ones. Same with El Perro.
Yep, I've got the El Perro. Short Bus Network. There it is. I found it. Heckle Bus Rides. That's what I was looking for. They have multiple links for you. This one I did not. So everybody make sure you like and subscribe over at Wizards if you're interested in this kind of information. And even if you're not, go give them a like and a follow. It's good for the channel. And we like to support each other around here.
Yeah, and it's going to be another another debate channel. Right now, I'm just setting things up, going through and doing video reviews on people like Joe Saddlin and the Paragon. I'll be doing videos on bus conversions, boondocking, gardening, perennial gardens, what you mentioned, plants that like to live together and share the same earth biome. Walnut trees, not one of them. If you got walnut trees, do not plant your gardens around walnut trees. They do not prosper with the iodine that it puts in the soil.
Yeah, that's been a challenge for me, although my garden's far enough away from it. It's just a matter of killing any freaking walnut trees that pop up because, oh my God, like when we got this property, there were already tons of walnut trees. And they're just a nightmare. Absolute. So I did have it. I did have the channel link. It was that one.
Yeah. And when it comes to the Short Bus Podcast, it's the last place I'd expect homesteading and such. Sounds like a place to highlight the silliness of the space. That's why I call it the Short Bus Podcast, because I truly think what we're doing today in these modern societies is insane. And I think I think it's a very short ride, and you don't need a big bus. You can go on your own out of this society. It's a short trip. It's not too far away. It's just around the corner. And if you start thinking logically and in your own true nature and start seeking out your true nature, you can get there. You don't need anybody else to drive you on a short bus to the insane asylum. You're already in the insane asylum. That's why they close them down. When they close down the insane asylums, they merely open the doors to society.
The black walnut trees that I have, you're absolutely right. That lumber is absolutely prized. The problem is where they are and actually taking them down. And I mean, I've tried to make deals with people where it's like, you cut them, you take them, and we'll call it an even trade. But they would have to go on someone else's property in order to drop the trees because of where they are in conjecture with my house. And even then, like it's going to be a nightmare. And
What if I told you I know a guy that could probably do it without doing so?
I'd say send them the fuck over because several of these need to go. Like
his family has been cutting down sequoia trees in California for fucking 5 generations. Pruitt's tree resins.
Every year I say I'm gonna fucking climb up there with the chainsaw and just do it myself because I've got like 4 of them that grew in the side of the creek. And this was before I ever moved here, obviously, because they're tall enough to tower over my house. And erosion is causing them to lean a little further every year. And they need to come down bad.
Yeah, that's the importance of cutting them down, and so that you
Keep
can
them short.
reestablish. Well, you can reestablish that bank line. by cutting them down and leaving them on the bank.
Yeah. If you cut them down, and that was the thing, we had a willow tree on the neighbor's property that fell into my walnut trees, and that's what really started them leaning. And as the willow came down, it reached a point where it got stuck on the walnut trees and was just kind of hanging there, and I had to go up and cut off a whole limb to get, well, a couple limbs to get it to fall. But where we cut that limb, by the next spring, it was just totally sprouted with all kinds of new growth. So you can take these trees and leave fucking 4 to 6 foot of it, sell off the rest of the walnut wood, and it'll regrow. No problem. No problem. They're like weeds. You can't get rid of them.
Well, you'd be surprised. Most people think that you have to have seeds to plant trees. No.
Nope.
You can clip a branch, a small little twig that's nice and fresh and green, put it in a bottle of water and let it root. A lot of trees, you can just plant them straight in the ground as long as you're in a moist season, and they will start rooting automatically. I don't suggest doing this at the end of the year because likely they'll fail. But at the beginning of the year when it's moist, you can do those cuttings and stick them in the ground. And by the end of the season, you have a well-rooted tree that'll come back the next year. And same thing with fruit trees. When you take a sprig off of a pear tree and splice it into an apple tree, take a sprig off a cherry tree, splice it into the same tree. There's trees out there with 40 different fruits in one tree.
Yep. Right now, I've got 2 big buckets of willow sprigs sitting on my front porch. We're going to go along the property line and stick them in the dirt, braid them together, and create a living hedge out of sprigs off of a willow tree from up the road.
Yeah.
And it worked great.
Yeah. And Donna says, I subbed up to Short Bus back when I first talked about it. Everything I always been taught about debate was you never attack your opponent on a personal level. Issue is with thoughts and beliefs. And that's a main portion of what the Short Bus Podcast TV is about, is etiquette in our debates. We don't want to sit there and attack each other and provide a division. We want to come together in all these solutions that we have, because we know there's a lot of different solutions. And if we can come together in those solutions, we can avoid the technology, the vaccinations and all that. Those are technologies that we can avoid by going back to our nature. That's where we really commune and we really prosper, is in our nature.
Absolutely.
In my strong opinion.
Oops. I am about to shut it down. Dusty has released a couple of videos. Everybody should go check those out. I'm looking to see who else is live. I can't rate anybody yet. So please, while you're here, if you're not subbed to the channel, please sub to the channel. Once I hit that right magic numbers that YouTube wants, I'll be able to start rating you guys places. And that's always fun. Wizard, if you got a suggestion where we should tell people to go, pop it in. You're modded here, right? Pretty sure you are.
I don't know if I am or not.
Well, only one way to find out. And yeah, Donna, you're right. A lot of debaters who go straight to the personal attacks, they're doing so because they don't have anything else. And what it is intended to do is to throw you into a position where you're not thinking about the argument that's being had. You're thinking about defending yourself and your character rather than defending the argument. And then you end up, you could have the better argument, the better position, the better everything. If you bite on those personal attacks, you're probably going to lose the entire fight by the end of it, just because whatever good points you had, you just lost them. And yeah, they're well known for doing that. We've seen it over and over again. Or the other thing that they do is When they're picking a hypothetical, they'll go for something that is completely outrageous, like fucking somebody's dead grandmother or incest or whatever, to get that shock value to throw you off of the track that you are on. You have to stand firm and say, we're not talking about that. If we're gonna, yeah, you're modded. If we're gonna, do a hypothetical, I insist that we pick something that is realistic. Nobody's ever gonna be in that position. I want something that the majority of people are gonna be in. You got to remember to take the outliers and keep them as outliers. You can't let the outliers become the focus, which gets hard. But
yep. Well, thanks for having me up.
Thank you for coming, sir. I had a blast. I'm all subbed up. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. I might go live again later today. I've got to go get a new inner tube for my lawnmower's front tire. Yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to get a mower. Our new place we haven't mowed yet because we don't have a mower. So it's getting.
Yeah, mine's getting out of hand. We've had a lot of rain and the grass is getting just a bit high. I mean, it's great for some of the weeds I want to keep, but
yeah, dandelions, mullein, catnip, mint. We got plenty of that. So we're gonna go out and harvest some of that before we mow.
I always harvest before I mow, and try to. I'll even take some of the weeds like mullein and pull it up, dig it up and put it somewhere else where I know I won't mow it over, just because that's a super valuable plant. Same thing with jewelweed.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same thing. We've got a handicap ramp, so I'm going to do the same thing along that handicap ramp. Just put everything along that ramp, and then we don't mow around that ramp.
That's right. That's why the side of my creek, we don't mow that. Except for one area. I've got like that weird, it's not bamboo, knotweed. That shit is awful. I fucking hate it. Just destroy it with fire. I've had incidents where I've had incidents where like raccoons have like come out because it grows so thick and so tall, and all of a sudden a raccoon will pop out and snatch a chicken, and the next thing you know, I'm like diving into it to save my bird. And but everybody have a great Saturday. Be blessed indeed for everybody, and we'll see y'all later.